Can you see me now, lads? Can you see me now? What happened? XL Luthor got to my stream, man. What the heck? There we go. Everybody here? Do I have to recreate the intro? Oh, I thought I did such a good job with the intro, man. Oh, okay. So let's just pretend we are starting the stream right now. I'm going to reset it up and pretend it's the beginning of the stream again. Superbot, play my goon list. Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Look at all these memories with my family. They're making me so happy they soothe me. Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. That means there is a world where I just did that for nobody. Nobody could see me, nobody could hear me, and I was just alone in my room doing that, thinking I was entertaining y'all. Huh. Yeah, your chat's right. His name is Gary. His name is Gary. Wow, so sorry about that, guys. So let's start off on the right foot. So this is the Superman spoiler discussion. We can finally get into all the nitty-gritty details about the movie. You've already seen my spoiler review. It is up on the channel. Some of y'all weren't happy with my thoughts, which let me just say that off top. I just came back from my third viewing of Superman. Saw it in 3D, which honestly, 3D wasn't bad. Nothing amazing, spectacular. But a couple of sequences in there, like Mr. Terrific's scene where he's fighting the Raptors and the pocket dimension scene with little baby Joey, all of that looked really good. I liked seeing it in 3D, and it was a little something different. But man, dude, a lot of people getting sensitive when you mention any nitpicks, any complaints with Superman. I liked the movie. I enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see more from David Cornswell and James Gunn. You say one thing you didn't like, you're such a hater. Why did you say that? Why did you say that? Them monkey bots be going crazy. So I want to remind you, you can love something and still acknowledge it wasn't perfect. And hey, if you just thought it was perfect, that's great too. But then what's the point of hearing me blab if you just want me to agree with you, you know? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So we got a lot to discuss here. We got a lot of chats going on right now. Unfortunately, because I did have to log in and log out. I'm going to have to pull them up here off to the side, but I'm still going to get to them. So let's just start off, get to talking. Please let me know your thoughts, and then we'll get it going here. So starting off with Coast Fallon, who let us know, is the movie good like Iron Man 1? Honestly, Coast, it's completely different. That's the thing about James Gunn's movie here with Superman. It's such a different beast. It's like I can totally see why there would still be people walking out of this going, I just prefer Henry Cavill's. I just prefer Man of Steel. Because if that's what you just like the dark, gritty groundedness of superhero characters, that's going to be for you. You know, you don't like this exaggerated, super zany world, it's not going to be your flavor, right? So comparing it to Iron Man 1, that's also a different one because it would be closer to like almost a Man of Steel take. It was a grounded, serious version. I get why you're asking that because it's like the beginning of the DCU. I have a hard time with it. Part of me wants to lean Iron Man 1 is better, but Iron Man 1 didn't make me walk out of theater feeling really good about life. I will say that. Oh, and I will put the chat up so that way you guys can y'all can see it here on the side. Another one here by Billy Interguy, and I'm just going to get through these, then I'll be showing them on the screen. These are just the ones that unfortunately said bye whenever I have to log out and log back into the software since you guys couldn't see me. Billy the Entertainment Guy says, why is Krypto Supergirl's pet annoyed at change? I've seen a lot of people get annoyed with the fact that Krypto does not belong to David Cornsweat's Superman, and I don't mind the change. You have to think about it like this for a little bit, right? We still don't know how they're going to explain the origin for Supergirl and Krypto, right? So, one, you have to think Krypto has been alive then for 30 years if he's coming into the pod with Superman. And I know what you're going to say. It's an alien dog, Chris. Maybe dogs on Krypton just live for 30 years. Superman's supposed to live for like hundreds of years with the yellow sun. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Good point. But it's also a bad dog. Okay, do you think the Kents or Superman would raise a bad dog? For 30 years, they haven't figured out how to make them sit, how to tame them, be good. It's elements that they would take away from this version of Krypto that make him more of, you know, a relatable dog. I got some nasty little fellas downstairs, my little doggies, but at the end of the day, they train. I tell them sit, they sit. So I don't know. I feel like, and they even said it at the end where like Kara's like just laughing with Krypto and he's like smashing her in the ground, giggling. She's totally fine with him having a bad behavior and doesn't do anything to correct it. It's what makes Krypto Krypto. I honestly didn't mind it. And either way, whether it is Superman's dog or it isn't, he loves the dog the same way and cared for its life. That's all I kind of cared about. So I get some people upset that it wasn't exactly Clark Kent's dog, but I think there's so many other things that would have happened differently if it was Clark's dog. Ray here says, what was the point of Bonnie Dispolo's character? Oh, okay, let's bring that up because you say that I don't even know who Bonnie Dispolos is. Bonnie Dispolo, Superman. Okay, Bonnie Dispolo, Superman. What did she do? Well, who was she in the movie, guys? If y'all let me know, was she the ex-girlfriend or is she the girlfriend? Who's she playing in the movie? Because I'm over here thinking, who are you talking about? Is she the blogger that was in the other cellmate? I'm trying to see what you guys are saying here because I'm kind of, yeah, see, Bonnie Dispolo. Who am I being trolled right now? Oh, are you just talking about this girl? Wasn't she just like one of Lex Luthor's goons? I mean, I don't think she's supposed to have a purpose, buddy. She's just a side. I mean, if you really want to talk about it, what's the point of bringing Otis into it? If you've seen my Christopher Reeve Superman reviews, I hate the character of Otis. I think Otis is such a stupid nobody character that really does not need to be part of these movies, and his only purpose is to be so dumb that it only makes Lex Luthor look that much more smart. The Otis we had in Superman was not stupid. He was nothing. He was just named Otis. He was a hype man, did what he needed to, and got out. No time at all did I think he was dumb or stupid. If anything, he said context lines. He's like, yeah, well, he's been studying them for 3 years. What do you expect? Yeah, but the nanites are still in his lungs, so he'll die. He was the context guy a little bit, right? It's just people that were there included in the movie. Yeah, Otis Goons. Yeah, Otis Goons. I believe that's his last name. And you know, speaking on that trope, because every Lex Luthor incarnation has had that. Whether it's Otis in the original movies or then Lenny Luthor in the other movies, right? Lenny Luthor. You bring up Lenny Luthor from Superman 4, another character who's just there to be dumb, to make Lex Luthor look smart. And then you had, what's her name? I think it was Superman Returns. Was it Kat? I think her name was also Kat. Or no, what was her name? Superman Returns. Girl from Lex girlfriend. I'll just type that and see if it comes up. Well, I forget her name, but she was there, and she was also like the nitwit idiot, just doing anything Lex says. But at least she turned on him at the end, and she was pretty upset whenever Lex actually cut her brakes and all that, which I'll talk about in the review series when it comes out. I'll get more in detail with it. This Superman movie fixed that trope for me because I hate that the whatchamacallit, the dumb girlfriend, and that's what they were making her look like in all the trailers and all the posters. She's just the hot girl pointing a phone and taking that and hearing about the plot leaks that maybe she's sexting Jimmy Olsen and all that. I was like, I'm gonna hate that. James Gunn, why'd you do that? No, she was just playing her character, trying to survive, getting insurance. I liked it. I thought it actually worked out, and I don't mind this subplot at all. And you got to give the Daily Planet something to do right in these movies, which I do think, aside from Jimmy and Lois, rest of the Daily Planet did not get a lot to do. Perry White, who are the other characters? The guy from SNL, who I thought was funny, Lombard or whatever. He was funny when he was like in Mr. Terrific's chair going, why don't I have a seat? That was pretty funny. But you don't get to do much with those characters and whatnot. They're just there. So I actually liked Eve and whatnot, and I hope Jimmy's nice to her, because that's another thing. I know I'm supposed to be getting to y'all super chats, but y'all got me rolling. I'm going to say it right now. I know Jimmy is supposed to be the Rizzler. He's supposed to be Mr. Cool, Mr. I get the ladies, all the huzz come to me. I say it. Jimmy a dick. Jimmy not a good boy. I cannot believe he's so shallow. You know what the sequel for Jimmy should be? Is a spin-off for Shallow Hal. You guys remember that movie with Jack Black? Where they put a curse on him and he only sees people for how beautiful they are inside, and he pictures that, so then he ends up with like a really fat Gwyneth Paltrow. Okay? Jimmy Olsen needs to go through that because the man didn't want to be with Eve because she got them mutant toes. He named this woman Mutant Toes in his contacts and didn't want to spend a weekend with her? Tell me this. If Sydney Sweeney had the ugliest toes you had ever seen, I'm talking old man, ugly, crusty feet, you ain't keeping Sydney around? You ain't letting that slide? You ain't making her wear socks for the rest of her life? I rest my case. Lawyered. All right. All right. Next up here, Retro Lover says, Lex Luthor called Superman a groomer. Yeah, but he didn't even. I know we used it. I was about to Google the term groomer. That's where my brain was going. Yes, he used the term groomer, but he used it in the appropriate context. I know you think groomer and you think of like YouTubers or something like that who talk to minors and whatnot, but grooming in just the phrase meaning be nice, over positivity, over being nice, just to earn your trust, earn your respect, just so that I could do something nefarious. Most of the time it's used to touch people inappropriate, but in this instance it was, hey, he was saying that Superman was trying to earn the trust of Earth, trying to make us believe he's the symbol of hope, only so then when he got us in our grasp, he will rip us out. And then maybe touch us with his harem. Someone said fix the audio. Oh no, what the hell? What's wrong with my audio? Dude, everything's just an issue today. Jeez Louise. Edit mic settings. Okay, there we go. Hopefully that's good. That's good. So, yeah, they said groomer, but it was used in a different context. He didn't mean he touched children or anything like that. David the Mamba said, no one cares about the crazy. Oh, see, I wish I could have pulled up that super chat right here because I would love to put you on blast, David. David the Mamba, no one cares about the crazy Martha change in the Batman, but hate the Superman one. Both work and push the narrative forward. His parents are the ones that raised him anyways. It isn't, you know what? I'm not going to put you on blast. It is interesting what he's talking about. If you remember in the Batman, and we say changes, but there are comics and precedents for this. Yeah, people have mentioned in Smallville, the Kryptonians are also slightly evil until they undo it seasons later. There's even comic runs where they do explore Jor-El and the Kryptonians a little bit more evil. There's some comic precedents, but as we've talked before, just like with the Hypno glasses, just because it happens in the comics doesn't mean I always want to see it done in adaptation. However, this instance, I didn't mind the Kryptonians being evil, but also in the Batman, he was talking about how in Martha, it has a mental illness. Remember, that's a plot point. She was put in psychiatric ward. It's so funny how making Batman's parents like evil or his mom crazy only kind of benefits and helps out Batman's backstory. Because if you say parents evil billionaire, that puts almost a mirror up to Bruce Wayne, and it's like he has to be better than who his parents were and whatnot. And a lot of times today, people think of billionaires as the evil ones. So I understand what putting past them. And I mean, his mom being crazy is like, well, that explains why he dressed like a bat. That explains why he got a screw looser too, you know? But you give it to Clark's parents. You give it to Superman, Bradley Cooper, Jor-El, and all them. And people do have a problem with it. But honestly, I don't have that much of an issue with it because, again, I want you guys to think about what they're doing. Whether it's in Christopher Reeve movie, in the Russell Crowe, I know I said Kurt Russell in my spoiler review, I mixed up my Russells. The Russell Crowe version, Man of Steel, they both specifically look for planets with a yellow sun so that their own child can be super powered, a god, and just be better than the humans. Why would you do that if there isn't some sort of creepy undertone that you're going to lead them? Even if they say you're leading them, you're guiding them, you're not there to raise him. You don't know where he's going to be. I think it's very unrealistic to think I'm going to send my child that's going to be unbelievably powerful to this planet and it's going to work out great for them. It did for Superman's case, but I don't mind that. I hope we actually get to explore that a little bit. Oh, good. I'm glad because a lot of people were not agreeing with me. A lot of people do not like it, but I understand. I see someone said, I agree with your take about the Kryptonians. Thank you. It's just that, you know? And also in the DCU, there's literally hundreds, thousands of planets. Kara, Supergirl, is going to a planet where she's normal. Why didn't the Kryptonians just send Kal-El there? And a planet where he can be one of the people, live a normal life, and not, be superior or whatnot, and things like that. So I don't mind it. I am curious where James Gunn is going with this plot line. Does he plan to make like Bradley Cooper the Zod of this universe? Do something like that where instead of giving us Zod, we'll get a version of Jor-El as Zod and all that. Or even when Zod does come into the picture, he's going to have a really good reason to be pissed at Superman, because I've seen some people say, well, like, Zod's going to be like, you had a purpose. You had a reason to be in here, and you didn't accomplish it. 1A! So we'll see. And also that I think makes the Supergirl movie so much more interesting because I want to know her perspective. She's supposed to know about Kryptonian culture, all that stuff, her life. That's her uncle who was telling her cousin to rule Earth. I want to know Supergirl's side on that and whether maybe the message is lost in translation. Is there maybe a different meaning to it? Or I don't know. I want to know Supergirl's perspective on losing people that are apparently not that great. Let me take a little sip. Sorry about that. All right, let's move on here. I got so many super chats to get to. Todd Murray says Clark's reaction to Shipman was hilarious. That was okay. That's another complaint I have been seeing about this. So whenever we get the interview with Superman and Lois in the apartment early on, they bring up social media. They bring up how on social media lately Superman has been getting a lot of crap. And again, I've seen people complain about that. I don't mind that. Isn't superhero interpretations to kind of mirror the way our world looks? If I look at the Christopher Reeve movie, well, that's what the world was kind of looking like back in the 70s, 80s, So it's like that was a product of its time. When I go watch the Tobey Spider-Man movies, that was the early 2000s. That's what it looked like. When I watch Tom Holland's movies, I'm just saying they're upgraded to our time. So including social media in here didn't bother me because it wasn't even that huge of a deal. But there is a campaign of people that are creating this narrative that Superman is bad. We later find out that's Lex Luthor pulling the strings with his monkey bots, which, dude, James Gunn did that just so we can have pictures of monkeys and send them to haters. Anytime online you see someone saying bad about Superman, all you got to do is post a picture of a monkey and go, checkmate. Checkmate. You're a bot monkey, buddy. Super what, But his reaction was hilarious when Lois was like, they say these hashtags super shouldn't. He's like, that one pisses me off. And I don't blame him, dude. As someone online, this week has been kind of rough on my mental health. I'm power throughing and I got a face right now. But man, some comments in both ways. Comments both ways for me liking the movie and the nitpicks I have. You're too nice on this film. You're a paid shill. Chris, you're so negative now. You're such a hater, dude. Just enjoy things. But as Superman, I do not let it get to me. Superman doesn't have time for selfies. That was a good line too. Superman doesn't have time for selfies. So yeah, that was a good line. That was a good line. And thank you. And I know I complain about all that stuff. I love you. I love all you guys who are civil and nice. There was so many comments in my spoiler review of people being genuinely nice. Of like, I disagree with you on that, Chris. I think it works because of this. And I love that. I don't mind you disagreeing or giving or trying to point out why I might be wrong or why my opinion is flawed on something. But do it civil, man. Don't hurt my feelings. But I love you guys. You guys are the best. I love this community. Okay, let's go on. Let's not be little mushes like Pa Kent. Oh, you mush. I love Pa Kent. Starlick says, even though I think Superman was good, really disappointed we didn't get a classic Clark Kent turn into Superman scene or any title cards like the Suicide Squad. I agree, man. If you guys remember, there was this rumor that Superman was going to have title cards all throughout. Superman title cards. The movie was going to open. I don't even know if I can find the article with that. But there was supposed to be all throughout the movie was basically going to open up with it saying something like a week in the life of Superman. And every day we'd be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And if you remember James Gunn's is the Suicide Squad, he had some beautiful title cards. All of these shots right here, like they were going to be like this. They weren't just going to be plain text showing up on the screen. They would have shown up in a natural way with like this, like the toilet or whatever, or on the ground made of worms and things, the roots and stuff like that. But they were removed from the movie because so apparently James Gunn just thought they didn't work out. And honestly, a lot of things were removed from the movie that I've noticed from trailers and other things. And I'm like, oh, that didn't make it into the film, or an alternate version of that line did make it into the film. But overall, what you were saying, no Clark Kent stuff. I hope that's maybe what they do next in when they bring it back in Superman 2 or whatever it ends up being. Because yeah, we just didn't get enough in the life of Clark Kent. I'm still happy with plenty of Superman. I mean, the title is Superman, so you want to see Superman. But it is also nice to see Clark do his thing, be more of a reporter and whatnot. But a scene where he could change, like in a phone booth, or does the iconic thing. I guess he wasn't trying to parallel Christopher Reeve too much. But dude, I would like a scene change next time around. We'll see if we get it. We'll see if we get it. All right. Okay, Squid says, during the credits scene, I almost thought Superman was gonna whip out the damage repair power like Superman 4. Oh, yeah. See, that's what I'm wondering. What he's talking about is, if you remember in the early Christopher Reeve movies, Superman always had like weird powers that didn't make sense, where he took off the S on his chest and made it through it like a fruit roll up. And he had this power in one of the movies where he could repair the wall of China. I can't find Christopher Reeve repair wall. There we go. He would repair the wall of China just with his vision. I wouldn't mind some odd powers. I will say, though, I would like a use of them more. I was hoping for more ice breath. I felt like we only got it in one scene when he got, I guess, two scenes, if you want to call it that. When he pushed the dog away and when he's trying to get out of the black hole there. But I would like a little bit more ice breath, because I'm kind of more of a fan of his ice breath over his heat vision. But overall, we got the main Superman abilities. I do wonder if this Superman has the inertia or the physics ability. If you guys don't know, Superman has this weird telekinetic power where when he carries something, although physically it would break, like this right here. Like, I know this is from the Justice League, but like in this situation, let's say I had Superman powers, or this was Homelander. If Homelander or I lifted that, the building would crumble over the pressure and the weight from all the other rounds. Superman, though, has the ability where when he holds something up, he can like make that entire thing stay the way it is all throughout. It's one of his powers that they've given him. So there was a scene in this movie where after he saves the lady, beautiful scene, who's about to get hit with the car, and then the smoke comes out and he like does the Aurifar moment, and you see the girl crying that she's like, I thought I was about to die and Superman saved me. Love that scene too, by the way. But that building crumbled. It didn't stay together. So I wonder if this Superman does have this ability, or what or not, But that was an awesome shot. All right, a couple more before I think I'm caught up. Retro Lover says, now I understand the initial Legacy title. Yeah, now that looking back, because Superman was titled Legacy at one point. Remember when that was happening? Superman Legacy. Well, that's all in part to his heritage with Krypton, to his parents raising him, the legacy you want to leave behind. And yeah, again, I don't mind the Kryptonian evil, and if anything, it really shows, because it's almost like, you remember in Amazing Spider-Man, the Andrew Garfield version. I don't know how many of you guys were still following all that stuff, but if you remember, there were rumors, and it was a real plot that they were going to explore, but they kind of brushed it aside. In the early versions of Amazing Spider-Man, it was going to be revealed that his father had already kind of messed with the DNA of his son, so that when he got bit by a spider, he can get Spider-Man powers. So that way only he could get it and not anyone else who was bit by a spider in Oscorp. Really dumb and stupid. But it also took away the the hero's journey, and it made it his forced destiny and made him who he was supposed to be. And Superman just said he does what he does because of his parents' message. So, if that message, he read it all the way through, Superman could have came out evil in this movie because that's what his parents told him, so that's what he wanted to follow. But no, he was raised by Mom and Pa Kent. He believes in doing good, and he believed the end of that message always meant good. And it spoke more to who Superman was inside than what his parents wanted him to be. It's the legacy you leave behind. It's not exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So I like that. I liked it. I didn't mind it. But yeah, I know some people were off about that. But the legacy part now, understood what they were meaning there. All right, next part here. Todd Murray says, how would you rank James Gunn's superhero movies? Okay, that is a tough one. I've thought about that, and that is a very tough thing to bring up. Because if we look at all the James Gunn movies, dude's made some bangers. If we just want to look at like the comic book movies, dude, I feel like I just want to make Guardians 1 still number 1. I'm not even kidding. I think Guardians 1 would still be number 1. I feel then I would put, see, it's hard. You know why it's hard? Because I think Suicide Squad, script-wise, visually, I mean, cinematography, sequence, I think Suicide Squad does a lot of things slightly better than Superman, but at the end of the day, there is no character in the Suicide Squad I like as much as I do Superman. I've seen some people comment on this where they're like, Chris, you're underestimating Superman and all this. I'm like, no, I'm not. Superman has never made $1 billion at the box office. His movies sometimes struggle. He doesn't get video games. It's like, I think Superman should be the number 1 hero in the world. When we talk about Mount Rushmore or the list of superheroes, I believe Superman should be like the number 1 loved character because of who he is and what he represents. But that's not the case. The top 3 characters are like Spider-Man, Batman, and I don't know, then you could throw in like Iron Man, Captain America, all these other characters before a lot of people think of Superman. But all is to say, although I think Suicide Squad might be doing some stuff better and maybe as a film as a whole might be slightly better than Superman, I'm putting Superman number 2, then the Suicide Squad, Guardians 3, Guardians 2, and so on. So there we go. Alexis World just keeps spamming weird every 2 seconds. So I'm putting you on timeout, buddy. Because that's what Superman would do. I'm not going to ban you. I'm putting you on timeout. Little spank on the bottom right there, buddy. I'm already being kind. I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am. It soothes me. I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am. I love that movie. Okay, Sui here says, Sunday Joe says, bro, I love the movies, but the trailers showed way too much. The shot of Superman using ice breath in the pocket universe and the laser spin should have been saved. I kind of agree with you, man. I don't know. James Gunn keeps saying that he's the one in charge of DC Studios and that he makes all the final decisions. So it's like, James Gunn, then that means it was you who showed us way too much of your movie, but that could just speak to the desperation to make sure people showed up for this film. Right now, it's looking to have a nice opening weekend. We're going to see how the legs are, but it's destined to at least break even. We'll see how much of this. Don't think it's headed towards $1 billion. I would love that. We're not there yet. But maybe this could lead us to where the second or third movie might hit $1 billion, if more people end up coming back. But yeah, I think it just speaks more to they just had to show their money. They had to show all their biddies and let us know, hey, y'all got to see this. It's kind of cool stuff, but it did take away from some of the big surprises in the movie, and our faults for seeing all those trailers too, right? Point Flash says, hey, man, I'm still not caught up. Point Flash says, mark my words, Ultraman will return. I just know. Oh, dude, I agree with you. I think Ultraman will also be returning in the movie. So in like a following film, the wrong Ultraman. So by the end, he gets thrown into a black hole. And yes, theoretically, if we jumped into a black hole, we would be ripped to shreds and we would be like instantly turned to dust or whatever. That's like what science says. But this is the DCU and all that. And to me, black holes, I think, are more portals. And he's he's as strong as Superman. I think if you throw Superman in a black hole, he doesn't die, but it is hard for him to come back to wherever he came from, or wherever he was on the other side. I think maybe this is then how they do traditional Ultraman. I love the idea of Bizarro. I see the chat spamming it right now. Yeah, Bizarro would be awesome if this ends up being Bizarro, because usually Bizarro in the comics, let me see if I can look up Bizarro planet. He's from some of this square planet, I believe. It's like this square, yeah, it's like this cube planet, and everything is polar opposite and whatnot. But also, you got to think, if this is still Ultraman, Ultraman comes from a different Earth. That was his origin and whatnot. So what if the black hole just took him to a multiverse place, and then he ends up becoming the Superman of that universe for a bit, and then that's how then, if, because every DC comic, every comic book universe eventually explores the multiverse somehow, and I bet you James Gunn has ideas of how to bring the old DCEU back, just even for fun, with like Henry and Ben Affleck. Who knows if we'd actually get that, but I feel like, as much as I'd like Bizarro, that could end up being the origin for this Ultraman and how he ends up in his other universe. But we'll see. We'll see if they bring him back. It could be something they never address again. David the Mamba says, someone said the second post-credit scene with crooked buildings is James Gunn taking the nitpick fans. 3C, he saved the DCU. Can't be perfect. Interesting. See what I said there? I can't nitpick without looking like a hater. But hey, I get it, man. I'm just being honest. A movie discussion, man. If every video was just me glazing, y'all wouldn't watch, and you know it, okay? You need sometimes to hate me, all right? I got the Luthor cap. I can put it on if I feel like it, okay? Make me mad enough, and I'll go bald. But back to what he said. That's an interesting idea, because I did think, let's see, let's look up Mr. Terrific. I did think the two post-credit scenes were a little like, we live in this culture now, thanks to the MCU, where we expect post-credit scenes to be massive and huge and big teases. James Gunn already mentioned beforehand that he doesn't like the commitment post-credit scenes have, because like with Adam Warlock, he made that commitment to have him in the third movie, and he found it really hard to write Adam Warlock in Guardians 3 to the point that he wished he didn't tease him, because he'd rather just not even have him in the movie. Although I think Adam Warlock was like a great part of the film. So with post-credit scenes, at least when James Gunn is directing, they're not going to be huge teases or promises. So that is interesting when you say that. It's like, oh, maybe it was just him winking at the audience a little bit, like, Cricket is not perfect. Yeah, because I fully agree. The movie is not perfect. There's definitely flaws, and I get why some people are not loving it. But 3 times watching it now, those flaws do not bother me, and I have a good time. But they bother y'all when I talk about them. Let me tell you that. Sunday Joe says, side note, love your content in this community. Oh, Sunday Joe, I agree, man. I love this community. You guys keep me humble. For real. Y'all guys keep me humble, and I love that. Because I don't ever want to be the ego guy. I don't want to ever think my opinion is superior to you guys. I just happen to be the one recording myself and uploading online. So to me, we are all on the same playing field when we talk about this movie stuff. So thank you for saying that, Sunday Joe. Retro Lover says, Rocket Raccoon is Superman's birth dad. Now that'd be wild. But on that point, you think about how much Rocket Raccoon and like sprinkles of his backstory and things like that were set up all throughout Guardians 1, Guardians 2, and it was fully fulfilled in Guardians 3, where it packs such an emotional punch. I can't tell you how much I teared up and was bawling in Guardians 3 because of Rocket's backstory. I can't wait to see when James Gunn is done with this trilogy or done with this Superman arc, when we look back at the things in this movie and we go, oh, dude, that was a setup. That was a tease. Oh, that callback later paid off. Whether it's Ultraman coming back, whether it's Superman showing kindness, definitely going to be Lex Luthor saying, the government gave me the power to kill you, and I'm going to... Oh, who knows? A lot of stuff that could eventually come back into play. All right, let me see here. I think, okay, almost caught up. Just a couple more. Says here, really hope we get a proper sequel. Let's not get more Clark. Show his other rogues gallery. Brainiac alone can be huge. Characters and personal plot for Clark. Dude, we need Brainiac. Enough teasing him, enough talking about him. Brainiac was supposed to be the villain in like one of the Christopher Reeve movies. They didn't do it. He was supposed to be the villain in the second Superman Returns. Obviously, that didn't happen. There's rumors that Man of Steel's sequel, that wasn't Batman vs. Superman, was going to be Brainiac. We never got that Henry Cavill sequel. bro. It's time to bring Brainiac in whatever you're talking about now, James Gunn. But we do have to mention James Gunn has already kind of been hinting about what the future holds for Superman, because he tweeted this to a fan. Oh, by the way, y'all like that? Y'all like that? So, round 3 in 3D. Oh, bet y'all wish that was in 3D. But anyways, he responded to a fan who asked him, when does Superman 2 come out? And James Gunn said, define Superman 2. Which lets me know the next project we will see David Cornsweet Superman is not, unfortunately, going to be another solo Superman adventure where the title is Superman. It's going to be some sort of team-up movie or film that heavily involves Superman. And he has been teasing it and talking about it in the press tour, where even David Cornsweet said, yeah, apparently there's some Superman project, but even James Gunn hasn't told me what it is, which I think is crazy. A couple of theories. It's world's finest, so a Batman-Superman team-up, which I don't like the idea of repeating the mistakes of the DCU by going Superman movie, Batman, Superman team-up movie. But whatever, hopefully it works out and whatnot if they do that. So it could be that, but I think he wants to introduce Batman in his solo movie first. Some people are bringing up really great theories that it's most likely going to end up being Superman and Supergirl. Yeah, I think it'll be a Superman and Supergirl project. Someone said Superman and Supergirl versus Brainiac, which honestly could work. And if you really think about it, I don't mind that idea. If anything, it makes a lot of sense because they're the ones that can most relate to each other. They have that Kryptonian heritage. And I was a little bothered at the end of the movie. Which again, here's a nitpick. Hold on to your undies. Here comes a 3C nitpick. By the end of the movie, whenever we see Supergirl and Superman is like, oh yeah, that's my cousin. She likes to get drunk on other planets and whatnot. He doesn't seem that phased or that upset. I feel like Superman would be the kind to like talk to her, to be like, Kara, what's wrong? Talk to me. We can work this out. Like, are you upset? Do you need therapy? You want someone to talk to? But he just kind of lets her be. And he's like, yeah, she gets drunk in parties. Obviously not a cry for help, but play my music, robots. I'm a goon man. Yes, I am. Look at my family. I'm a goon man. Yes, I am. I don't care about my cousin. I'm just kidding. I'm taking it too far. He obviously cares about his cousin. All right. I get now why y'all get mad when I did pick. Look right here. This is Supergirl's uncle talking. Supergirl is fine. She's doing it for attention. She's fine. But I do think so. If it ends up being this next movie with Superman, a Superman and Supergirl team up movie, oh dude, that'd be awesome. Especially them fighting against Brainiac. I mean, what if in this version Brainiac is the cause of the destruction of Krypton? You know, I've seen a lot of theories that maybe Brainiac altered the message that Superman was sent in a pod and that he was just using Superman so that eventually Earth can be ready for him to conquer when he's ready. So he altered a message to say, hey, conquer this planet. So when Brainiac's ready, he'll fly over to Earth and be like, hey, great job, Superman. I'll take it over from here. You know? So a movie where they get their revenge on the thing that killed their planet, destroyed all their people, redeeming the Kryptonian name that I know a lot of people would be happy with if they decided to undo the Kryptonians being evil. Although I don't mind if it sticks. That could be a good movie. So I would see that. And then we would get that heart-to-heart with Clark and Supergirl, and they can work things out and whatnot. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am. Here we go. Snow L. Jackson says, what is your ranking of the Superman movies? Okay. Honestly, dude, I don't know. I've thought about this because I admit I showed you guys in the videos I've did on the channel, the Christopher Reeve movies. I've seen them for the first time this 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago now, but whatever, for the first time ever, because as a kid they didn't interest me. I couldn't sit through them. I never found Superman as a character I liked all that much. Now I was like, I really enjoy him, but I feel like such a fake fan by saying I think that Christopher Reeve movie is still number one because I just jumped into it. But I really do see him as like the definitive Superman. Although there's a lot of things I love and I think they did perfect with this David Cornsweet Superman, I think the ideal version of Superman is still Christopher Reeve. Just like I think the ideal version of Batman is Kevin Costner. Why am I freezing on his name right now? Oh my goodness, the GOAT. Kevin. what was it? Oh my goodness, why can't I think of the name? Kevin Conroy, not Kevin Costner. Sorry. Just like I think of Kevin Conroy, who voiced Batman in the animated series, to me that's definitive Batman. You know that when I read Superman, when I read Batman comics, that's the voice I hear in my head because to me that's the definitive Batman. Um, so part of me feels like Christopher Reeve is still number one, and then James Gunn's is number two, and then number three is Man of Steel. Again, I don't want to say all my thoughts on Man of Steel because like I still want to have those reviews posted. And Reed's telling me he's close to finishing, so they'll probably be out Monday then. But yeah, that's honestly where I go right now. Christopher Reeve one, James Gunn, Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, and then the rest I'd have to dig deeper on. And I mean Tyler is a good one too, but I'm just speaking movies. But I do think Tyler is a great one from the CW show Superman and Lois. Okay, cool. Caught him up, so now I can show him on the screen. All right. George Torres says Lex not giving the Hammer of Baravia a suit to Ultraman for final battle is lazy writing. And if the Kryptonians are evil, why isn't Supergirl? Just my nitpick. And you're fine to nitpick. Nitpicks are welcome here, buddy. You got a nit? Let me pick. That's a salty one. Tastes like a monkey. You a Snyder bot? All right, so good points, right? It's like the Hammer of Baravia. I don't know if it's the suit, though, that made him that powerful. It was just the fact that, I mean, Lex was just in his prime of like 1A, 2-7, 3C. Say that again. And whatnot. So I don't know if much of it came from the suit. It was just concealing his identity. Ultraman was just as powerful without it. I do wonder, though, how much of Ultraman works. Because on the second and third time, I was thinking, well, if Superman gets his powers from the sun, Ultraman is covered head to toe and almost is never taking in energy or light from the sun. So does this clone not need the sun? And that's what makes him better, although he is dumber, like Lex said. And, you know, that could help with the Lex Luthor, with the Bizarro situation, because the sun hurts Bizarro. So I do wonder about that. As far as why Supergirl isn't evil, I'm very curious, and I hope they address that in the Supergirl movie. Superman already had so much going on. If we start going into why Supergirl's this way, I just wouldn't have had enough time. So hopefully the Supergirl movie will address why maybe the Kryptonians felt that way or what they were thinking, and it's maybe part of the reason why she acts the way she does. I hope they do, but doesn't mean she has to be evil. She's just more depressed that everyone she knows and loves is gone. I wonder if she even saves people or if she helps out from time to time. Doesn't feel like she does. Doesn't feel like she does. All right. Dark Forest. Who is that girl with Metamorpho? I wish Superman showed up for that boy with the flag on Crazy. That both Batman Gotham is destroyed and Metropolis. I wonder if they're doing the thing where Metropolis is right next to Gotham City. They do that in Batman vs Superman, where Gotham and Metropolis are right next to each other. I never loved that. I like the idea of them being so separate because Superman would definitely help if literally Gotham is right next door and needs assisting from all this craziness. It would be so quick for Superman to just go and also help out the Bat. I like the idea of Gotham and and Metropolis almost being like on opposite ends of the continent, but whatever. Because there was a sign that said Gotham to your left, so that means Gotham's pretty close to Metropolis, and that. As far as what you said, though, about the boy, I've seen a lot of people complain about that. That is a big nitpick a lot of people have, where in Superman, the little boy has the flag, which would have been a really great moment because that was getting me teared up when he's like, Superman, Superman. Dude, that was a really great... But I didn't mind Guy Gardner showing up, and it's part of the message that Superman inspired kindness, that he showed it to other heroes that needed to be there, and they even though they think it's going to be terrible for business because they're now defying the government and they're going to have to deal with the consequences of that, which I think will be dealt with in the next movie or DCU film. I was okay with it. I didn't mind it, but yeah, it's like, dang, they set that up the whole movie. It would have been nice to see Superman help out those people, but it was still cool to see everybody else's powers in that scene. All right, we have here Elsie Talks, the scene when he saves the lady from the building. Oh, dude, great scene. Superman in the building. What, dude? Aura farmer. This is aura farming done right, dude. I'm just bringing up all my complaints from Man of Steel and whatnot, but yeah, whenever he saves the girl from the falling building, which I can't find an exact photo of, but That was such a good moment because it's and again, people complain that the James Gunn movie was too much humor taking away from like the emotional moments. I don't see that. Yes, I agree on the Lex scene. I would have liked a little bit more back and forth before Krypto stepped in to like toss him around. But I think there's so many moments where humor does not ruin the sentimental parts, and just that alone, seeing the girl's face driving away, tears where she's like, I thought I was about to die, and Superman just coming from the rubble, and the music swells, all I was like, woo! I loved it. I loved it. 3C, what's your favorite scene from Superman? My favorite scene. Oh man, there's a lot ones of the I mean, that's definitely one. I really like that scene with him helping. Honestly, it was the entire kaiju sequence. I think the entire kaiju sequence, not just because I got to see some Green Lantern powers, but you really got to see how this Superman is a better hero than a lot of the other heroes currently going on right now. Like just everything in those moments where he was saving other people, he was trying to figure out a humane way to stop the kaiju, his good boy attitude, annoying other teammates, saving the squirrel, all of that scene, I was like, from that scene on, I was like, this is my Superman now. This is the Superman I want to follow for years to come. They nailed him. They did him great. So I want to say the kaiju sequence was probably my favorite because I think it just captured the essence of what Superman should be. Corbin A says, Chris, is David the best version of Superman? Also, any good Superman comics that represent James Gunn's Superman? Oh yeah, well, I mean, he's brought him up, and you can tell a lot of the inspiration. Birthright for sure, like with the Middle East plot, with Lex Luthor trying to whatchamacallit, taint the Superman name and trick the people of Metropolis. Although in this version it wasn't a trick, it actually was the real message. Birthright, All-Star Superman. Those are the ones I read and caught up, and you do see a lot of the parallels from those that show up in here. As far as best version, I still think it's Christopher Reeve. I still think that is the definitive version of Superman based on the way I envision the character, but David Corn Sweat comes super close. And who knows, in a couple more movies, he could be the one that I'm like, Christopher Reeve, who? That's the best Superman we got. And I don't hate on Man of Steel's version, but it's definitely an alternate version. It's just an alternate take that I can appreciate from a different angle. Corbin Nay says, I'm more hyped for Supergirl now. Dude, same. Way more hyped for Supergirl now. Like, I was already curious based off the comic and the way they're going to do it, but now seeing her as that party girl, that's going to be a very fun movie. I think that's going to be so fun. DJ Sheher says, I still can't believe Lex used the word groom. Yeah, I know people see that word and they think nasty sexual context, but I mean, groom can be used in so many other contexts that don't mean that, but yeah, I get it. Elvidine Melik says, just watch Peacemaker season 1. Can't wait for season 2. How do you think Peacemaker connects to Superman, and how do both connect to the overall universe? Great question, my friend. Great question. Because now, I mean, Peacemaker's got a lot that they can dive into and explore for us, and it's going to be nice to be able to jump back into the DCU that quickly. So for one, my prediction was wrong. I was entirely wrong. I thought this scene where Peacemaker is being interviewed to be a member of the Justice Gang is because maybe Mr. Terrific left the team and he's like, I don't want to be a sponsored hero. It's not the right thing to do, this and that. And Superman was going to teach them a lesson. We're not going to get that lesson here yet, but they are looking for more members. And it looks like they want to expand the team quite a lot because they just bought the Hall of Justice, which that scene of itself in the movie, crazy. I don't know if I can pull them up because they're technically, stills from the movie. I don't want to get copyrighted, but people who've gone the movies, they take pictures of everything in the film. There's people who've now taken pictures of the mural that you see inside the Hall of Justice, and there is just superhero galore. Jay Garrick, Flash, Wildcat. People are even saying that they see Dr. Fate Pierce Brosnan in there. Dr. Fate Pierce Brosnan from the Black Adam movie, which again just shows you how much James Gunn doesn't care about what is and isn't canon. Just follow the movies and have fun. So he liked Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, and that was a pretty baller casting, and Dr. Fate was pretty cool in that movie, so I don't even blame him. So it looks like he might end up sticking around, but they probably just won't address the context of this movie all that much. So what was I saying? Back to this point. Oh, so with Peacemaker season 2, no, he's being interviewed, and he's obviously not going to get part of the team. I think the show will be him going from the DCEU, where he's not respected, he's not loved, everyone hates him, this and that, and he'll end up taking the place of Peacemaker in the DCU, who is an a-hole. He still has that persona of I'm better, they just want to be me, my big muscle, Superman sucks, because that Peacemaker cameo is great. I don't mind that. It could be a good way to slightly reboot him, bring him into the universe, so that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. But I can't wait to see more context about the DCU. Holden says, yo, bro, just saw the movie yesterday. It was amazing. One of my favorite parts was the monkeys tweeting out about hating Superman. Yeah, see, and that's things I can appreciate more now in the second viewing, because I'm not going to lie, that's one of the things when I first saw it where I was like, oh, that's a lot, man. You're a pocket dimension. There's a white Martian steering the ship, the Metamorpho. There's people in the prison, monkeys with little I was like, what is this? So much? This is so much. But now 3 times seeing the movie, expecting it, knowing the context, it just flows so naturally. And that's why I still think James Gunn's Superman is a very rewatchable movie. I think it's so rewatchable. And so when you get to those scenes with the monkeys, and knowing that it's like, oh, well, it's just because one of the reasons the government doesn't want to go after Superman is because the public love him. The public loves Superman. They think he's great. He's one of the more liked heroes. So if the government tries to arrest Superman, they're going to be hated. So Lex is like, well, all right, then I'll create hate online and make the government think people don't like Superman. So it's just part of it. I didn't mind it. Some people really don't like when social media is included in modern movies. Mr. Crispy says, one nitpick I had. Oh, here we go. The nitpicks, baby. Give them to me. I eat them up. I had with the movie is that Superman never got his iconic transition from Clark Kent to Superman. Yeah, Grant, a lot of people have been mentioning that, and I agree with you. It would have been nice to see him change. Maybe they just don't want to do the shirt rip because that's so much iconic with Christopher Reeve, but I don't know, a version of that, like at least a taking of the glasses off and standing up straighter, going through a phone booth. The bathroom of the Daily Planet. I would like a transition scene next time. Isaiah says, do you think James Gunn will write and direct the sequel or just write it? Or do you think he'll just produce? That is honestly a great point. Because although I'm talking that like, oh, dude, he did such a great job with the Guardians trilogy and he made 3 amazing movies. Think about James Gunn right now. For the last, I don't know, I think it's over 10 years now, he has only made comic book movies. The 3 Guardian films, the Suicide Squad, and now Superman. 5 movies. Eventually, you have so much frosting, you eat the same food over and over, you get sick of it. As a creative, as a filmmaker, I think you eventually want to stretch your legs and do something else and prove that you can be out of this box. So I don't think it's crazy to think James Gunn might not direct the entire Superman trilogy. James Gunn might not do very many DCU projects, although I wouldn't mind and I'd love it because I still think he's on a winning streak. Even with the flaws I have with the Superman movie, he's on a winning streak. James Gunn might just be like, I'll write him, I'll give you points, but you take the wheel from here, because he just might be done, and he's going to be very busy with running the studio. Once more projects start lifting off the ground and going up left and right, I don't think he can take 4 months off to make his movie when at the same time other projects will be happening. So it's not ridiculous to say that. It's not ridiculous to say that. He might end up not directing some of these. We have to be ready for that. Owen Cooper says, to me, this was the most comic booky film whilst keeping it original. Do you think more comic book movies should lean into after seeing this? Yes, I do think they benefit from it a little bit more. But even James Gunn said, don't expect every DCU movie to feel like Superman did. This one leaned into the wacky, zany comic book world. But we're going to get Clayface. That's going to be rated R, adult, gritty. I don't know if it's going to be that much. He said there's going to be so many projects that just feel tonally different, even though they're all in the same world. Which to me, just like, well, then that's even further proof that Matt Reeves' The Batman, can perfectly fit into this universe. That was already a crazy world. Metropolis has the big kaijus and interdimensional beings that come out. Batman's got the little mafia crime bosses ruining the city. They were everywhere. Riddler, Penguin, Falcons, all that. I think the universe is built. If they end up merging, I'm not gonna be mad. But I do agree it's probably not likely now. But yeah, some of them more leaning in. DP69 says, I've always wondered how exactly do super chats work. Does YouTube pay you half, or how do you claim the money? Honestly, if I'm being real with y'all, because y'all, I think a lot of y'all probably watch Campia. Campia does it the smart way. Campia has you send the questions through a different service. I think Streamlabs or some sort of tip link. That's probably the smarter way, because let me tell you, YouTube takes a pretty penny out of these super chats. I think they take about 30%, and if you're paying with like Apple, they take another 10%. So this $5 you sent me, I gonna see $2 of it, which I don't mind. You're still supporting me, and it's still grateful. And at the end of the day, it's you handing me money to just hear me talk and whatnot. But don't think Papa's getting a big old Bruce Wayne piggy bank. This is just so I can dictate the questions, because if I just go through the live, it's gonna be here forever. It's gonna be here forever. But I still appreciate you guys coming here. Let's go on to more Superman talk, though. Caden Wisely says, hey, Chris, how do you feel about Supergirl in the movie? Kind of reminds me of the live-action Powerpuff Girls, to be honest. I mean, yeah, we didn't get to see it, but I get what you mean, where, like, the Powerpuff Girls were, like, drunk and whatnot. I just think it's still the context that a lot of people have not been shown yet. Power Puff Girls live action. Bubbles was on the streets, man. I still can't believe that. They thought that was the good idea. You know, Bubbles, let's have her showing her Bubbles in them streets. Who's showing up to that? Who's showing up to that? But it's still gonna be more different for Supergirl, and it makes sense to me for Supergirl since I've read the comic, because she lost everybody. Everyone she knows died. She grew up with them, all that. She's coping and trying to just numb the pain, and drinking is her coping mechanism. Now, I think Supergirl will be about her overcoming that, because that's how it is in the comic also, is she's at a planet just getting drunk, trying to have a good time, and she ends up getting put into this situation where she has to help someone else, even though she doesn't really want to help them. She's just like, hey, I just want to drink. I want to party. I don't want responsibilities. But she sympathizes with her because she's about to lose everything. She's about to lose her whole world and whatnot. And Supergirl's like, well, I know what that feels like. All right, I guess I'll help you. And I think through that journey, she'll learn, I guess there is something good at helping people, being kind and doing stuff. And she'll end up more like her cousin. But she'll probably still end up doing differently and still have her little attitude, which I don't mind. It gives her personality and whatnot. Snow L. Jackson says, for the second one, they need to play Starman. Dude, agree. There's a star, man. Yes, I can see the scene already. Would you like me to play your jams? It suits him. There's a star. There's a star, man, waiting in the sky. Oh, my family. I love that scene so much. I love that scene so much, dude. Every 3 times, whenever the movie ends, and that's, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. The footage of the Kents and all that, I get tears, dude. I get tears. Why did my parents love me that much? Super Sticker says, Super Sticker. Benji M says, Isabella Merced, she says she wants to have Hawkgirl in a relationship with Jon Stewart, like in the cartoon. Do you think we will see them in the JLL movie? Okay, I think that's a thing that's been taken out of context, because I have seen her, that being spread around, Isabella Merced, Jon Stewart. I don't think she said that. I think what she actually said is that she wouldn't mind being like Hawkgirl in the animated series, and then so people interpreted that to mean, oh, then she wants to bang Jon Stewart, because that's what happens in the animated series. So she didn't exactly say she wants a romance or whatnot with the Green Lantern. It was more she was saying that she would like to be like the incarnation in the animated series. Now, if I'm wrong, you guys let me know, but I believe that's what was it was being manipulated, her thoughts and stuff like that. So yeah. Ban Roger. What's Roger doing? Who's Roger? Who Roger? Roger, let me find you and let me obliterate you. If I see Roger in the chat, I'll get rid of him. So many people will tell me to ban this Roger fella. Keep an eye out for him, mods. All right. Move on here. What'd you say? Do you think we will see them in dude, I hope we get to a JLA movie. James Gunn was just talking about, and I think I have the article here. where the DC studios will introduce films like Supergirl, Clayface in theaters, and the series Lanterns, all part of a bold 10-year plan. The DC vision is clear, the momentum is real, and I couldn't be more excited for what's ahead. I gotta think the Justice League movie is in that 10-year plan. So within 10 years, we're getting that Justice League film, and I cannot wait. That is going to be such a bold, amazing movie. I gotta think James Gunn is gonna want to be the one to direct it, right? Why wouldn't he, right? He set this course, he built the map. I think he would want to direct it. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay. All right. I think I found Roger. Roger. All right, we're gonna get you. Let's see. Let's just ban this dude. How do I get? Or I just put user in timeout for. Well, let's just ban Roger and get him away. There we go. Roger is no more. Freaking fool. What was he doing? Roger gets Roger. The gun was reloaded. Guns on you, Roger. Okay, Global Globber says 2-part. Does James Gunn have the best taste in soundtrack for comic book movies? And it does. Yeah. And it's flaws, but still made me happy and feel good. Just a breath of fresh air. It reminds me of Jelly Animated Show. I agree. It does feel like a breath of fresh air. It does feel different than what we've seen. And yeah, I think he's got a really good taste for music. I saw some people not loving the punk rock angle, not loving the soundtrack. I've never heard of the song that was on the Mr. Terrific scene, the 5 years time. I love it now. It's in my phone and I'm listening to it. And I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Dude, when I want to cry now, I'm putting that song on. I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. My kid. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Lex was racist AF. Yes, he was being alienist. He really did not like the fact that he was an alien. And I kind of like that distinction with Lex, because he does clearly say, I don't like the metahumans. The metahumans suck. I'm not a fan of them. But Superman, he is an alien. He's not even from this planet. I think they made a good job separating, because I always did wonder that too whenever they announced it. If this is a fully built-in DCU, then why does my boy Lexi, why would he hate Superman if there's already so many other metahumans? What makes Superman all that different? And it's like, well, he's an alien. He's not even from this planet. And he gets so much love and attention that Lex desperately wants. Yeah. But I got to think, eventually we're going to have other aliens. We're going to have Martian Manhunter. And isn't it in some iterations Hawkgirl an alien from a different planet? Or is that the other Hawkgirl interpretations? I'd be pissed with the Green Lanterns. They're space cops. Their bosses don't even run this, are from this planet. Wouldn't you be mad at them too, Lex? Either way, Lex is mad, and I hope he eventually creates the Villain of Doom Society. What's it called? The Doom Syndicate, something like that. The little Doom place that they have at the swamp. That was it. Lex Doom building. I don't even know. I just remember that. Lex Luthor Doom. Where is it? It's like in a swamp. What's it called? The Villainy of Doom. This thing, the Legion of Doom, my bad. There, the Legion of Doom, and their headquarters is in a swamp. I remember that from the cartoons. I hope they end up doing that. That'd be cool. I'd like that. DJ Sheher says, should Brainiac appear in the next Superman movie? Yes, I would like Brainiac. It is time. I would really just like more traditional Superman villains. I don't mind Hammer Baravia or Ultraman, but when I think of Superman villains, it was not people like that. It's time to showcase some other characters. Brainiac could be fun. People are saying Superman made more than Man of Steel, but that's simply not true. With inflation, the movie made $311 million, where Superman made $225. I hate that people are doing this. Like, that is how desperate you are being with your wanting to, put up another character over another, because me loving this movie doesn't make me like Henry Cavill any less. I'm still mad Henry Cavill never got his second solo film and how dirty WB did him, but I still want to enjoy Superman and like the movies. And so this narrative that it's like, well, if you adjust it for inflation, bruh, there's so many other factors you could put in about that. Why maybe it did so well? Because we were on this high of Marvel was busting out a great cinematic universe. DC was going to do the same. People were excited for it. And what happened? Every movie after Man of Steel didn't do as well, especially after Batman vs. Superman. So it's just like, Okay, it did that, but now we're trying to get to a better place. There's just so much holding on to the past is all, you know? So I don't like this that people are bringing up, yeah, but with inflation, Man of Steel is still on. Come on now. Come on now. If we bring up inflation, the Christopher Reeve movie probably made like $1 trillion. So then what? Yeah. Brody 115 says, finally a good DC movie. What a banger. Oh, dude, I agree. What a banger. Although we've had some good ones. The Batman, Suicide Squad. Some other ones. The first Aquaman was pretty good. Zack Snyder's Justice League was good. Blue Beetle was Blue Beetling. Connor Sturman says, with Superman's parents being evil in this continuity, how will they go about explaining why Zod and his goons are in the Phantom Zone? See, that's a great point because the context is different, right? It's got to be something different than conquering. Your boy gets thirsty talking all this mighty stuff. You're right. There's got to be something to it. That's why I'm thinking maybe they just don't even do Zod, and they do a version of Jor-El, becoming a version of Zod for this universe, and like that would be so big. Superman having to fight his own dad and whatnot. It would be very Invincible-esque. I do agree there. It would be very Invincible-esque, but that does create a problem. It'd have to be a whole different situation of why Zod, maybe Zod is part of the reason Krypton got destroyed. Maybe Zod sold out Krypton. Maybe Zod was feeding information to Brainiac, and so he was a traitor to the people and whatnot, or something like that. So we'll see. But that's a great point, Connor. That's a great point. It's like, well, then how do you do Zod? But at the same time, I don't want to see Zod. We've seen Zod done great, both in the Reeve movie and in Zack's Man of Steel, because I think Michael Shannon and Zod is one of the best parts of that movie. I will find him. I found him. I love that. I will find him. So it's like we've already done Zod so great twice. I don't want to see Zod again. I'd bring in somebody else. Aaron Jackson says, who do you think will be Superman's next villain? My money would be on like Brainiac. I think you have Lex stay in a prison for all the second movie, and he like breaks out or somehow is let loose and works his way to becoming president for like the third movie, because I think you got to do the president storyline with Lex Luthor. There's so much gold you could do there. But yeah, but Brainiac would be my main choice. If not, a Metallo or something else like that. We'll see. Lord Rain says, I saw a theory that maybe Jor-El and Lara Van may actually be Zod and Farah. Thoughts? Oh. Now that would be a twist, that this was never their parents, that it was just Zod kind of knowing that Jor-El has sent a pod out, it's gone, it's going. Zod knows he's got to populate Krypton and whatnot, so he's like, all right, let me just Bluetooth this message over there. It's a baby. He don't know what his parents look like. I is daddy. That's not a bad theory. I really don't know how much they're gonna backtrack the whole Kryptonians being evil, though. I feel like James Gunn is gonna stick with it because he doesn't do a lot of that. Even when like Gamora got killed in Infinity War, and if that wasn't James's decision, he still played with it in a way where he did get Gamora, but he didn't bring her back to life. He even made sure that relationship didn't end up staying together by the end of Guardians 3. So I feel like James is going to stick with it, but I'm hoping there's like some context or a better understanding of why they thought that to soften the blow a little bit, But we'll see. That's not a bad theory. Adventure with Parker and Dad said, have you seen Superman and Moleman? No. Superman and Moleman? What is it? Superman Moleman. Oh, there's like the George Reeves movie? George Reeves? No, I haven't seen that. Whoa. Them some foreheads. Caleb Hepner says, to be honest, I love the movie, but I wish it was a complete standalone Superman, where it's just Superman, Lois and Lex, and maybe Mr. Terrific because he was great. I still found it to be very Superman focused. I think all the supporting, to me, again, I say, I don't think there was too many characters. I just think there was too many ideas in Superman, and not everything got the chance to breathe and really be out there. And I think there's so many Daily Planet people outside of Jimmy and Lois that didn't get a chance to shine. And it would have been nice if they could have been sort of a bigger part in the movie to really emphasize the Superman aspect of it. But I think at the end of it, everybody still served the purpose for Superman. It completed his arc, and he was able to help out others. I don't mind it as much. I don't mind it, but we'll see what they do in the sequel. Retro Lover says, "Where's the meanwhile at the Hall of Justice?" Oh, it would have been nice to get that title card, buddy. Let me see. I really want to pull up. Let me see if I could just pull it up. Hopefully, Warner Brothers don't find me. Warner Brothers, turn around. Hall of Justice, because I'd like to see some of those freaks on the wall, all plastered. Okay, here they go. So again, Warner Brothers, please turn around. We have here at the scene where Lois is talking to Guy Gardner, and she's talking about, you got to go help Superman. He's in trouble. And Guy Gardner's like, hypno glasses of the cloth, things like that. This is on the wall, and this is the history of the DCU. You have Wildcat there, and so many other characters I've never heard of. Atomic Knight, Freedom Beast. So this is supposedly Dr. Fate in there. I want to say this is Booster Gold. That honestly looks just like Booster Gold to me. I feel like that's Booster Gold. I see the gold visor, the gold right there. It feels like Booster Gold to me. The Flash, Jay Garrett. Black Pirate, never heard of him. Also the Flash. And it's supposed to be just kind of showing you how heroes have been. Now, I hope someday we get a full look of this, because 3 times now watching the movie, dude, they really don't let you see that Hall of Justice mural very well. And somebody painted it, took the time to make it, and you only get to see slivers of it from afar. Maybe one day James Gunn will just post a picture online and be like, the history of the DCU. So we'll find out. It doesn't mean 100% all these characters will eventually show up. I do think we would get someone like Wildcat, Jay Garrick, Flash, Dr. Fate would probably be up there. So I'm thinking a Just Society of America movie is probably what we're going to get, and I wouldn't mind that. I want to know more of because these superheroes or metahumans have been around for 300 years. That's a lot of history. That's a lot of stuff. I wouldn't mind seeing those origin stories for other characters and what they had going on. But yeah, dude, that was a crazy little thing. All right, let's see here. It says, I totally agree with your take on the movie. I saw it Tuesday and I loved it. It does have pacing issues and not James Gunn's best script, but it's literally a comic book movie. It gets me excited for the DCU. Agree. Thank you, Peyton, for understanding and coming to terms with me. Means a lot, buddy. Glad you enjoyed it just as much as I did. Nader Tot says, hey, Chris, love the channel. Oh, love you watching, buddy. Love you and happy to have you here. Carl Nakawaka says, I need Mawasa, Lex Luthor, to have my adventures with Superman? Yes, okay, so the animated Superman show. Lex Luthor to take heavy inspiration from Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor once he loses the hair in season 3 and becomes the main villain. He was just incredible. Oh, the new Superman show with Jack Quaid is the voice. I gotta catch up with that. Is that worth watching? Is that been good? I know I watched a couple episodes of it and then I just ended up somewhat. Nothing because it was bad. It just I had other stuff to do. But okay, cool. Lex Luthor in there. Mariano says, Saludos desde Mexico. Now that James Gunn showed us Superman that represents all that is good about humanity, I would love to see a cold and heartless Brainiac as a villain on the big screen. Oh, the people are clamoring for it, James. The people want freaking Brainiac. Give us that big old green brain, buddy. You know, one part I want to talk about a little bit because I don't know if anybody will mention it, is the White Martian aspect. If you guys remember, there was in the trailers, in the behind the scenes, we got this White Martian looking thing. I don't know if they're going to show it. Superman, let me see if I can, 2025. Okay, this thing. He's like steering the ship, and for some reason, it's just under the command. I'm assuming these little like cufflings are things that are helping him control. I think it is basically confirmed in the movie. It's a White Martian. So they are the species that fight off the Green Martians. Green Martians versus White Martians. And for Martian Manhunter, that's usually his origin, that like the White Martians go after his people. They're more violent, this and that. I think we're eventually going to get Martian Manhunter, which I can't wait. I really would love to see Martian Manhunter on the big screen. But I'm thinking this is a white Martian, and the reason I believe that is because now the third time watching the movie, I caught the scene where Superman's like, this obsession with me is getting a little out of hand, Luthor. And he goes, tall, dark, whatever, tall, dark, handsome, and Martian isn't my type. And then he says, Kryptonian, not Martian. And Luthor's like, same difference. And then he points at the Martian, the white Martian. I think that's the knob right there saying that, like, this guy's a Martian, and I'm pointing at him to do my job. So this could be the little bit of world building. See, to me, this is the fine. We didn't need an explanation. Luthor going, this is a white Martian, by the way. There are green ones of them out there, and they've been hunting them for years. Now I'm going to put you in this prison. The weird thing is there, and it just exists, and that's fine. Cool. We'll see if it ends up becoming something or not. We'll see. That's Mr. Handsome, bro. Oh, did he actually call him Mr. Handsome? I did catch that too the second time. Oh, no, he's created? No, really? Oh, so I'm wrong? Mr. Handsome. I did see him call him that in the movie, and I was like, why do you call him Handsome? Mr. Handsome, Lex Luthor. So that's a thing? I like my theory better. Dang, I thought I was onto something when he was like, tall, dark, and Martian isn't my type. And then he points at him, so I was like, oh, so that's a Martian. It's a white Martian. Okay, Mr. Handsome, it's just a thing created. I guess it's one of his failed experiments then? Papa got to do some research in there. See, this is where you guys keep me humble. This is where y'all like, all right, Chris. Unk, sit your theorizing butt down and listen to the chat. Mr. Handsome was a criminal mastermind who operated in Gotham City. He commanded the model army, a group of henchmen who used handsome men. Oh, I guess I should have been in that group. Following the examples of their leader, model army stole priceless items and art pieces from Mr. Handsome, who was devoted admirer. Okay, so it looks like he was just a thug that Luthor was like, hey, you ain't thugging in my territory, buddy. All right, good to know. Forget everything I just said. Forget everything I just said. Someone said, do your homework. Hey, I keep it authentic. I'm not going to pretend when I don't know something. I keep it authentic here. I keep it authentic. I thought the movie was good. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I'm excited for the DCU. But even before this movie and now after, I'm super excited for the Lantern Show. Dude, the Lantern Show is going to be so good. Dude, I'm so glad Guy Gardner ended up being into the hype, because I was like, dude, no, Guy Gardner, the joke Green Lantern, James. I want people to take Green Lantern seriously again and to see them as cool characters, because I do think when they do Justice League, Jon Stewart is part of that team, and his introduction is going to be in a TV show and all this. I was like, no, man, come on. But Guy Gardner was dope. Guy Gardner was cool, and the audience really liked him and found him funny. So he ended up becoming a likable part and kind of helping repair the Green Lantern name in media. So I apologize, Guy Gardner. I did not know your game. I was not familiar with your game. You got an upgrade, bud. I love that line. I love that line. It says here, Peyton Rourke says, who do you think will be the villain in the sequel? My money's Brainiac, but knowing James, it could be something otherworldly or original. Christian Perez says, it was such a missed opportunity in the end credit scene when Mr. Terrific and Superman were looking at the uneven building, and it should have been a secondary Wayne Enterprise building. Yeah, I think they're trying to hold off on doing so much Superman symbolism or so much, because really the only Batman Easter egg that we got for Superman was the Gotham City sign. Is when the city's being evacuated, there's a quick little sign off to the side that says turn left for Gotham City. And that's about it. I didn't catch any other Batman related Easter eggs in the movie. I don't mind that, because dude, there's so much reliance on Batman, so much stuff like that. I would like other characters to get the spotlight, then throw in the Batman. We know when he comes in, he's going to aura farm and steal the show every chance he gets. I don't want the universe to be so built on the shoulders of that character, but it would have been cool if it was like Wayne Enterprise. But that feels like you would set up a Man of Steel, Batman v Superman situation where Bruce Wayne would come in and go, why did you destroy my building? Why did you destroy the building? Bad kitty. Polka Dot Man? Was there a Polka Dot Man Easter egg that I missed in the movie? I didn't see no Polka Dot Man. He dead though, ain't he? Hopefully in the DCU he's not dead, because in the DCEU he did die. So it'd be great if they brought Polka Dot Man back. All right, we got here, says, Cool Bro 278. Hey, Chris, I've been watching since the Avengers Infinity War days and stayed through all the set changes. Hey, man, thank you. It's been a lot of set changes. Keep up the work. Hey, I'll keep up the work. I'll try to make it good, but sometimes it's gonna be dookie. And you just gonna be okay with it. Primus says, I hope they use characters like Metallo, Parasite, Mr. Mix. Dude, I'm not sold on that. Maybe James Gunn. See, this may be another Guy Gardner situation. I don't like the idea of Mr. Mixtapitz, or however you pronounce his name. I can never pronounce it. Mr. Someone do the emphasis name of how to say it in the chat. That way I know how to say it. But so it's almost like he's like Loki for Superman. He's a joke character from another dimension who can create all these illusions and sometimes put Superman in a reality where he just like, messes up his own. I'm just not that big on him. I don't know. That's almost too wacky for me. It's a little too out there, but hey, I'm not the biggest Superman guy. I know to a lot of people this is a big character and would be nice to have, but hey, if anybody's going to do him, it's going to be James Gunn. James Gunn will find a way to do him where I'm like, I was wrong. This is actually a pretty intriguing character. But yeah, I agree on Metallo, Parasite. Like, if I'm being honest, why couldn't Ultraman just be Metallo? I guess because he's supposed to be powered by kryptonite, so he just would have been such an easy thing to defeat Superman. We saw how much kryptonite was hurting him. I wonder where all the kryptonite in the DCU went. My theory that Batman bought it all and is storing it for a day he needs to use it against Superman. That's my headcanon for that. So Mixy Split. Mix yes spit lick. What? Oh my goodness, that sounds like a dirty word. That's how something like Haley Steinfeld would say in Sinners. Mix spit tick lick. Mix spit tick lick. Hey. Oh boy, you can steal them robs and cars, but you can't mix spit tick a lick. There's Haley Steinfeld's character for you. I gotta do better. Mixel pit illick. I don't know, y'all. It's not looking good for me, man. I'm 30 and my brain already deteriorating. Already. Sorry, guys. I will. It's not a joke. I really want to know how to pronounce it. I'll do better. All right. Let's see. I keep going on here. Just answer that. David the Mamba says, no one thought Iron Man in 2008 would make Thanos bleed 12 years later. For Pattinson, DCU grounded can be adjusted over time. I agree. And I said this in my spoiler review, and some people were taking it negative when I was meaning it positive. I said in my spoiler review, that's like, it took 10 years for like the MCU to do something where Spider-Man has the Infinity Gauntlet, is swinging through Thor's hammer onto a Pegasus with Valkyrie and Thanos' army. Like, that was such a big, giant comic booky crazy moment. And James Gunn Superman was able to do it in the first movie with a scene of him in a pocket dimension into an anti-proton river, holding a green baby, friggin' Rex over there looking like a squid, Krypto into a black hole. Like, that's such a huge comic booky nerdy thing, and he made it work in one movie. That was a compliment. That wasn't me saying we need to build up to that craziness, James. I was like, no, he was able to do it and make it work in one film. That's awesome. So it makes you think how much crazier it's gonna look in 10, 12 years when that was the starting norm, So we'll see. Will A says, the message that Superman follows is that of his Ma and Pa. And that was great, dude. Ma and Pa Kent are so lovely in that movie. They make me so happy. I smile so hard with Ma Kent on the phone with him. Congrats on the article, Clark. We just wanted to congratulate you. Don't be a stranger. They warmed my heart. I was like, and then when Superman is like in bed, like trying to recover from the kryptonite poisoning, he's like, Ma, they sent me here to kill people. He's like, he reverts back to being a 10-year-old in his mom's arms going, Ma, I just hurt my leg on the playground. Oh, like, I don't care if people think that's wimpy or if it's like, oh, dude, really? That's the Superman you follow? What a whip. That's Superman, dude. The real punk rock is telling your mommy when you're hurt. Wait, no, tough guy, Mr. I'm fine. I'm not hurt. Superman, the real punk rock. Let's keep going on. Someone I got watch it on my birthday, and I got surprised to see John Cena make a cameo. I figured John Cena was making a cameo. Like, James Gunn has already propped up that character so much. He's the next project coming directly after Superman. It's only smart for him to show him there. That way, it's almost like an advertisement for his show. But I'm glad it wasn't a setup or some sort of tease for his show, because that's what I don't like when the MCU does, when they insert a character just so that they can be set up for something else. Peacemaker just shows up, little cameo, remind you he exists, and by the way, season 2's coming out. That's it. That was good. Mr. Old Days Fool says, I get scared. I wake up every morning, and despite not knowing what to do, I put one foot in front of the other, and I try to make the best choices. Do I goon? Yeah. Does my mom clean those socks? Of course. That's what makes me human, Lex. Lex is like, what'd you just say? Oh, no, son. You know what? We good. Jordan Duran says, I wish this movie did well, because he's a top 3 selling comic book of all time with over 600 million copies. Yeah, I agree, man. It's like, because I say this, Spider-Man is my favorite superhero of all time. That'll never change. Spider-Man will always be number 1 in my mind. But if I'm trying to like separate my own fan bias and things, I do think, dude, Superman should be the number 1 superhero in the world. He should be the number 1 idolized thing. Sure, he's got the colors of America, but he represents just goodness, kindness, overall protecting people. He should literally be the superhero, but the world sometimes doesn't see him that way. And you know, the money that comes out of his movies or shows or things like that sometimes doesn't end up translating. Instead, we go with Batman, the dark dude, the something in the way. Which, can we blame him? We all want to be that emo rich guy. I'd be that emo rich guy if I could. TJ Boggs says, not gonna lie, I think Guardians trilogy was his best superhero movies. Oh, and I'm not disagreeing with you. Maybe at the end of 2 more Superman movies that James Gunn does, we can have another conversation about how we feel about that. But as of right now, that's just a fact. I don't even know if that's an opinion. That's a fact. Not gonna lie. Oh yeah, you just said that. Mr. Oldest Fool. I could screw up all the time, but that's what makes me human, and that's my greatest strength. Good little speech. I liked it. Aaron Jackson says, hey Chris, did you see an old lady in the film with 4 turtles? I thought she was just holding 1 turtle. She was holding, because I think TMNT is connected to this universe. I hate to break your bubble, buddy, but it ain't going to be connected. Because, I mean, the Turtles are owned by Nickelodeon, and Nickelodeon usually does movies with Paramount, and this is a Warner Brothers movie, and I swear I only saw 1 turtle in that little bin. If there was 4 turtles, I missed it. Mr. Oldest Fool says, as someone who's been discouraged, hated on, told I'm heartless, literally disowned by my family to the point of where I haven't lived with my mom. Oh, dude, I'm sorry. Since 13 and dad 17, been home to home for years to become independent. By 22, Superman's speech about what makes him human made me bawl so much. Oh, dude, it speaks to all of us. And I love the people that are feeling so connected, so whimsical. I'm like scrolling through TikTok and people are playing, the song, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am, with them just smiling, having left the theater, feeling good. And that's what Superman did. It left us feeling good, whether it's flaws, whether it's imperfections, all that. It's a movie that just makes you feel good. Sunday Joe says, Superman Supergirl movie. It makes perfect sense. Oh, yeah, I agree. If that is the team-up film James Gunn is working on, because he's been doing the Secret Superman project, that's what would make the most sense. But we'll see. Maybe it also depends on the success of Supergirl, because he wouldn't want to do a Superman Supergirl team-up if Supergirl flops, which I hope doesn't happen. Shampoo Max says, I got dragged by saying Sinners and Rebirth were mid. Saw Superman this Friday with my wife. Peak cinema, 8.5 out of 10. Fair rating. Do you remember names from Regstream? I do. I see the common people. Yeah, I see the common people. I do be remembering people. But hey, it's your opinion. I definitely think Sinners is still the best movie of the year. I don't blame you for Rebirth. There was a lot of mixed opinions on that, but hey, we're all entitled to our own opinion. All right, TJ Boggs says, I didn't like how the movie started with him in the middle of a fight. Or like already losing. Yeah, see, that's another thing I mentioned. People didn't like that I nitpicked, but I feel like it should have been a bigger deal whenever Superman is in the snow and he's like suffering. And the title card said it best, where he is like, and 3 minutes ago, Superman lost a battle for the first time in his life. I was like, oh, Dude, that gave me chills. I was like, no, Superman. I haven't even seen him and the movie hasn't started. I felt like it should have been somewhat of a bigger deal that the most powerful metahuman just got wiped the floor with. And the next thing he's just like, well, gotta go to work. Gotta go tell people about my article. But it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. Elliot says, reason I thought the message was fake is how did humans translate the message? Because Mr. Terrific and humans decrypted it. See, that's another thing. Like, I know it's a nitpick. Here it goes. I'm getting to picking. Hide your ears. The first time I watched the movie, all throughout until the credits rolled, I just didn't believe his parents were evil. I didn't think they would do that. And mainly because the information is coming from Lex Luthor, and I've read comics where Lex Luthor, like I think Birthright does that, where Lex Luthor takes information about Kryptonians, but he makes these holograms and all these lies that they're here to conquer Earth and all this, and it ends up being fake. So that's where my basis was coming from. Oh, it's just going to be like in Birthright where Lex Luthor is faking this message. And so no matter times Lex Luthor kept presenting the message saying, no, it's actually real. No, it's actually happened. I'm like, no, this guy's so full of himself. He even believes his own lie. And so I know Mr. Terrific is someone we can trust, but he had only just seen it on the news. And within 5 seconds of seeing it on the news, he's like, no, Clark, that's a real message. I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific. I was like, what would have actually definitively not made me second guess it was if the super bots were also there to Superman's like, is this real is this actually what they said? Yes, Superman, I can confirm it. I'm sorry. That just would have helped me. Not that huge of a deal. It doesn't bother me on my rewatches, but yeah, the whole movie, I was like, really? Can the Earth actually decrypt this Kryptonian dead language from another planet? But then I'm like, well, this is a world where they know aliens and other planets exist. Maybe their linguistics are just that far ahead where they can decode all sorts of languages. But I'm like, even here on our Earth, we can't figure out what them hieroglyphics say. Looks here like the Egyptians like to boogie and get down. I believe that's what this little emoji says. Yes. So yeah, I don't know. That's my thoughts. Retro Lover says they should have earned the title Quest for Peace. I mean, this movie basically did with Superman 4 and what they were doing. And I still think the Baravia costume in that country is heavily inspired by the look of Nuclear Man from Superman 4. Dylan says, who do you think will play the character Joker, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Oh, dude, I have no idea. I would love Ben Schwartz as Plastic Man. That's a casting I agree with. I think he'd be great as Plastic Man. I mean, if this was the 90s, Jim Carrey as Plastic Man would have done numbers. I'm down for anybody. I trust the casting so far. I'm honestly the most one I'm curious about right now is Batman. I want to see who Batman ends up being. We'd be here for a long time if I'm just looking through a list of actors going, I think he's a good Green Lantern, this and that. Oh, yeah, Wonder Woman right there. Green Arrow, I will give you Green Arrow. Let's say, who I like as Green Arrow right now? Alan Richardson. Wasn't Alan Richardson like Aquaman in Smallville? I don't know. Caden wisely says, I think Ultraman's hammer suit should have been recolored and used as a Lex power suit at the end of the fight. I think they want to build up to the Lex power suit. I think that's for sure coming. And that's going to be something where Lex is like, well, if you can't do it, you got to do it yourself. And I don't mind it because they already established the dude basically has memorized all of Superman's fighting style, his abilities. So now not having that extra step where he has to see Superman, say a code, tell it to his goon, goon pushes a button, Ultraman gets the message, Ultraman does action. There's a lot of steps involved in that, but Lex was that smart. 1A, 2C, 4D. Oh, that Lex suit is going to be overpowered, and it's going to be great to see whenever it comes to fruition. So, yeah, I think they're building to that. I wouldn't have wanted that in this movie. I think that would have been so much. I'd be like, that's enough, man. That's so much going on. But, yeah, hopefully they do eventually work up to that, because I would like to see Lex in the power suit. Mr. Crispy says, while Superman is fighting the kaiju, there is a Gotham newscast stating floods in Gotham. Oh, do you think this teases Matt Reeves' Batman? It could possibly be. I have seen that. Let's see. Superman Gotham flood. They could be a hint, but also, I mean, let's see. Is it not in available anymore? Oh no. Let's see. I moved from Gotham because of the floods, this and that. I don't know. There was I know the article and it was on trailers and stuff, so people were screenshotting it and bringing it up. I'm not seeing it here right now. But it could be, but also we see that this world is so used. This world is so used to catastrophe, chaos. Some people are phased, some people are not. Like there's a giant kaiju in the middle of Metropolis. People are pulling out their phones, recording. They're not even evacuating because it's like, I mean, y'all heroes are about to take it down. How often do we get to see this big monster? So, I think in Gotham that they probably flood once a week. Once a week, there's some sort of water issue. If it's not the Joker poisoning the water supply, it's the Riddler letting all the water go about. You know? Hey, Super 3C, Spider-Man No Way Home or Superman, buddy? Come on now. You know I'm going to say Spider-Man No Way Home. That is the culmination of generations of Spider-Man. That is like literally watching my childhood, my teenage years, and my adulthood all come into one in one movie. I'll even say probably No Way Home is if about as flawed as Superman. No, actually, I think No Way Home is probably a little bit more flawed than Superman. There's a lot of stuff in there, but again, that's another movie where it's just like it just means so much to me. I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. That's my moment of that. Whenever I'm in my Fortress of Solitude, the little robots are gonna be like, "Shall we pay Spider-Man No Way Home? It suits him." That would be me. Aunt May dies. Oh, so soothing. David the Mamba, JK about the nitpicking. Love your honesty and authenticity. Years ago. Oh no, it's okay. Like I said, you guys keep me humble. Y'all gotta let me. I never want to get, because I do fear this, because a lot of other YouTubers get to this point, and I've witnessed it firsthand. After doing YouTube, reviewing movies, and giving opinions and discussion, there is gonna come a day, hopefully 10 years down the line, 5 years, where I'm just gonna be grumpy about everything. Where everything I see in cinema is just not what I recognize anymore. It's made for a lot younger generation. It's not made for me. And I'm just going to be grumpy and mad about any and every little thing. I hope when that day comes, I can still separate that side of me and just be happy and try to see the positive in what I see. Because I don't know, there's a lot of people I did grow up watching and YouTubing, and I hear their opinions now, and all it sounds like is, Unk need a nap. Ump is grumpy today. Unk, what's going on? I just hope that don't happen to me. It'll happen to all of us. One day we'll be going, back in my day, Superman would hold a baby Joey in a proton field. Mr. Old Ass Fool says, Krypto beat Lex. Don't worry, he doesn't bite me. Krypto beat Lex. Don't worry, he doesn't bite me. Oh, that'd be, I visualized it. I see what you mean. Yeah, that was a crazy scene. I do wish Lex could have finished his speech though with Superman, because he was onto something that was going to set up their rivalry for the rest of the DCU, where he's like, it doesn't matter. The government gave me permission to kill you, so whether it's today, tomorrow, 10, he was going to go on. I wish that speech finished and then Krypto could have done his thing. Cuz it's like the Heath Ledger speech at the end of Dark Knight, where Joker's like, "You and me, we're supposed to do this forever. Just going back and forth. You complete me." Like that's the quintessential Batman Joker story. They are always yin and yang to one another. Lex Luthor was about to give that speech to Superman, or like the moment in Amazing Spider-Man when Captain Stacy's dying and he's like, "You're going to want to wear a mask. You're going to make enemies. People you love are going to get hurt." Like, it's setting up his journey and his pain of becoming Spider-Man. I wish we would have got it. I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am. Bro, what were your thoughts on them changing his backstory with Jor-El's speech thing? Because I really did not like it. I had a lot of gripes with the movie, but that was my biggest problem with the film. Again, to me, I was able to be okay with it because I've always thought the Jor-El speeches in the older movies sounded a little creepy, of like, yeah, let's just send a superpowered god to this weak planet and he'll guide them. He'll be the light. I'm like, nah, yeah, it sounds like you need him to rule. So I always found the Kryptonian speeches to have like a little undertone of like a creepiness, of like a superiority to Earth. So it made sense if they just full on went into it. But I am curious of the implications of that, because I know some people just don't like the Kryptonians being completely evil. It could lead to their downfall, maybe. I hope it's further explored. But like I said, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Mr. Oldest Fool says Peacemaker got my biggest reaction in all my showings. Yeah, it is surprising that Peacemaker is kind of like a household name. Bro's Mortal Kombat collabs, getting clapped for cameos. I'm like, what? This is Peacemaker. This ain't Batman. I will say Supergirl did get claps the first 2 times I saw it. My third time, this recent screening, nobody cared. Supergirl showed up. I was like, oh, y'all better be clapping for some Kara. Chase Leno says 3C. How many times have you seen Superman? I also noticed Peacemaker was wearing his season 1 costume in his cameo. Ooh. Good catch, because he does have a new costume right in the show. So I wonder what those implications mean or how that goes. 3 times now. I think that's about it though. I'm not. I think the next time I'll see it is when it'll be at home. I enjoyed the movie so much. It gave me such a good feeling. And James Gunn was hyping up the 3D, even though it wasn't all that much, but it was still very enjoyable, the 3D. So seeing it 3 times in theaters, I think is like going to be my cap there. And next time I see it will be in Steelbook on 4K here at home. But 3 times so far. Goat says, does Perry know that Clark is Superman at the ending? When he asked how long have they been hooking up, Jimmy said 3 months. Haven't seen it online. Well, no, he does not know Clark is that because Jimmy and them don't even know that Clark and Lois are dating. They don't know that. That's why at the Daily Planet, they're still having this like almost rivalry amongst journalists where Lois was like, really? Superman told you that, huh? After you interviewed him. Weird how you get all these Superman interviews, Clark. It's like they're just pretending to be coworkers. They're not letting their other people know that they're dating. So they don't even suspect that Lois and Clark are dating. So to them, Lois is just seeing Superman. It's like, oh, Lois is boning Superman. So if the planet finds out Lois is seeing Clark, they're gonna be like, oh, what the heck? She's sleeping with Clark and Superman? Damn, that girl nasty. Damn, that mixing that alien and human DNA. Oh, you a freak. You a freak, Lois. That's the conversation Perry and Jimmy having in their office. Oh, that's nasty. So, yeah, we'll see. Mikey Hernandez says, I love your action. Oh, dude, your action, your choices score so much. It's my entrance song for my wedding in October. You're invited, by the way. Oh, dude, that's so cool. Having that as your song in your wedding. I'm gonna let Warner Brothers know, and they're gonna shut that down. Yeah, Mikey. No. I am officially on Warner Brothers payroll. I get checks from them as per the many comments that call me a paid shill. As per the rules of being a paid WB shill, I must tell them when you are unrightly using their copyrighted music for your personal life. Sorry to ruin your wedding, buddy. You will be sued, and all that you own and love is now David Zaslav's. All hail Zaslav. Okay, I'm just kidding. Good luck with your wedding, buddy. I love that. That's such a great idea. Tony Michael says, hey 3C, you handled the critic discourse reviewing film honestly, and it was so cool seeing your red carpet journey. I thank you. Would love to hear one you talk about the real punk rock message from this film. It is very different, and it's so almost specific for James Gunn, because I did watch Angry Joe's review because I know he's a huge Superman fan. Like, Superman is to him what Spider-Man is to me, so I really wanted to hear his thoughts. And it seems like in his heart he wants to love the movie, but his like critic and mind brain with all the other flaws aren't letting him. Hopefully over time he can let go of that and just like love the movie for what it is. But he's like he hates punk rock music, and so that really took away from some of those moments. And yeah, punk rock is a very specific kind of music. I like it. It's not my preferred choice, but I'm the kind of guy that if it sounds good, I'll listen to it. I never would have sought out the Mr. Terrific song, the 5 years time, or the I'm the punk rocker, yes I am, at the end. But now having that attachment to Superman, I love those songs now. So it is interesting, and it's such a great message, because Lois is talking about, is like, yeah, like I grew up over here roughhousing, can't trust nobody, questioning everyone around me, and you just love everybody, Clark. You trust everybody. You think everyone is beautiful, and him just saying, maybe that's the real punk rock. I was like, dude, you got Riz, Superman. Let me catch up on that Riz with you, man. Yeah. If David Corn Sweat is punk rock, what would Henry Cavill be? I'm trying to think. Obviously, I don't think it's country music. It's not rap. What would Henry Cavill's genre of song be to match his style? I think it'd be like an opera score, no? He's the real opera score. He's the real Phantom of the Opera. He's the real Phantom Zone of the Opera. Say that again? Heavy metal? Oh, he's heavy metal? I don't know. I guess, you know what? There is a lot of, yeah, I guess so. Whatever the soundtrack of Whiplash is. Maybe it's a jazz, heavy jazz. Good thought experiment. Aaron Jackson says, I hope Superman dethrones Lilo and Stitch remake. Buddy, I would love that. I'm not being unrealistic though. I know Superman's unfortunately going to struggle to hit a billion. It's just never happened for him. It's a new start, and there's already so much competition and so much doubt with DC. We have to build that trust back. I think Superman is going to help the future of DC projects. I think Lilo and Stitch at the end of the day beats Superman because they're like right about to hit a billy. Someone said hard rock, death metal. Okay, I see that. I see that. Alternative rock, I think, is more Brandon Routh. I'd say Brandon Routh is more alternative rock. Let's see here. Mr. Ajax 11 says, I really hope with James Gunn picking and choosing what is and isn't canon, we can see Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle, and Superman eventually interacting. I would love that. I'm thinking they're going to save Blue Beetle for a Teen Titans movie. I think he will be in there as one of the Titans. I think they will do some sort of like young superhero gang. Because I remember James Gunn in interviews or in messages, he talked about he does like the idea of, well, he loves Damian Robin. And he would also love the idea of like Superboy somewhere down the line. So Superboy and Damian maybe teaming up somewhere in there would be cool. But we'll see. N-Stock says, saw it yesterday. Can see your points, but still 8 out of 10. Perfect amount of comic book relief. Where's my seat? Oh, good stuff, buddy. Good stuff. Yeah, 8 out of 10 is about where I gave it. It's on. I give 8.5 now with that third watch. Like it even more and more. My old ass fool says Superman's so rewatchable. Seen it 6 times. So much fun. Oh my goodness, 6 times. It is very rewatchable though. I do not feel bored when rewatching it 3 times in. Connor Sturman says when Eve sent the selfie to Jimmy, a kid in the back shouted, "She sent the wrong one." The entire audience bursted out laughing. I love that. Unfortunately, I didn't have a great kid at my screening. There was a kid behind me when after the Mr. Terrific scene happened, and that was done. That was like the coolest scene. The kid turned to his mom and went, "Is the movie almost over?" I'm like, "That's goddamn Mr. Terrific, kid. Come on now." Hey, some kids, I'm like, you let him scroll on TikTok, huh? He on TikTok all day, right? That's what's going on here? Just let him go home. He's gonna watch the movie in clip forms. He'll enjoy it that way. Cause I bet you that's already happening too. If you go on TikTok, I bet there's already all clips and scenes. You could probably end up watching the whole Superman movie just by scrolling. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, it says here, Retro Lover says the Justice Gang arrived late at the end of Peacemaker season 1. Oh, that would be a great like callback to the Justice League. So what he's saying, if you guys remember the Justice League in Peacemaker, they had that little cameo where they arrived all late after all the battle was done and finished. I think that's a great gag too, because I've always wondered that. Like, what if they just show up late and Peacemaker finished all that? So what if they redo that? But with the Justice Gang, you just have the Justice Gang show up going, "Hey, we're here. You're late." Good idea, buddy. Good idea. I've heard a theory Bradley Cooper acts play Zod, and this weird either way. I think the message has something to do with Zod. I think Eric Bana is a great op. Okay. Okay, yeah, that theory's popping up a lot that maybe Bradley Cooper was Zod. He was pretending to be Jor-El. Kal-El. I love the little language it's almost like ASMR to my ear. Kal-El. Click clock kluk Kal-El. I can't replicate it. Bro, I think the movie was bloated and filled with too much stuff while also have pretty bad writing and dialogue, but I know you liked it. Do you think Fantastic Four has a chance to do better? I am curious how I will feel because I just think Superman leans so much in to the comic booky side, is not afraid to be zany and go full out there and embrace it. And while Fantastic Four also feels like it's doing similar things, I still feel like it's going to keep it slightly grounded or tamed, where it's not going to go that full route. But I don't know if it'll be an apples and oranges situation, while I like more or less, but I'm still very excited for Fantastic Four. I mean, once Monday hits, it's Fantastic Four time. And this suit, gonna have a big four right here on me soon. But yeah, but I'll compare them evenly. We'll see. What we have here. Let's see, pull up Superman image so we can be staring at my boy Super. Superman makes me feel something great. I haven't since Cap 1 and OG Spider-Man trilogy. I'll carry the box office to 1 billion. Don't worry, guys. Oh man. Hey, I hope you get us there, man. I hope you get us there. 6 viewings. You gave a lot of money already. Just send some love. Thank you so much. Lenny Blanco says, Theory, do you think it's possible Superman's real parents were forced to make the second part of the message by the people of Krypton, and that it was purposely damaged and never meant to be seen? Ooh, dude, so many theories to try and keep the Kryptonians good. I like this. Y'all don't want to let them Kryptonians be bad. That would be a great idea. Like yes, we can send Superman out, but he's got to be there to that, and maybe Jor-El messes with the message just to only show the first part. I don't mind that. That'd be an interesting little twist. That might be it right there. That's a good one. Colby says, I love the movie a lot, but the fisheye lens shots gotta go in the future movies. There is a lot of those scenes. I know what you're talking about. I don't know if this counts as one, but I noticed that like with my third viewing, there is a lot of up face shots. I don't mind it. It gives the movie flavor, and it's a different stylistic choice than what James Gunn has done with his other movies. So I'm okay with it. But yeah, there is a lot of like up close stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Dude, Nicholas Holt is so good, dude. Nicholas Holt is so good. Te quiero, wey. Yo también te quiero, homie. Gracias for the love. Perozil says, saw video saying Superman flopped internationally. I wouldn't say that it flopped internationally. It's got strong numbers in Brazil, in Mexico, in... Sorry, I'm just... They keep calling me, but... sorry. Something been calling me all day, and I've just been busy. The numbers aren't as strong like in China, and I think even in other sections. Yeah, it's having some trouble. Superman isn't doing it that great, but we'll see where the numbers end up and where things go. I think it's still a strong start, and I really the second weekend, so this coming weekend, because I think its only competition is Smurfs. Bro, I think Superman could have a chance of being number one at the box office again. Or is it also, I know what you did last summer, this coming weekend? Yeah, Smurfs and I know what you did last summer. I don't think that's enough to take away Superman's spot. I think Superman could still be number one coming this week, but we'll see. My oldest fool, remember when the marketing seemed non-existent and then suddenly ramped up so much and everywhere? I seen all ages and groups of people going. Yeah, it's funny because I even wore a Superman. I was at the mall earlier today and I wore like a low-key Superman shirt. It was that shirt I showed off in the vlog, the one that says Man of Steel with like the red V here, the white cream shirt. I wore that out. I was getting compliments, man. Somebody was like, I like that shirt. I was like, oh man, people feeling the Superman hype. I was like, Superman is everywhere. But yeah, dude, they kicked that market into high gear. They kicked it into high gear. ODK sends in some love. Thank you so much. Brickety says, please wear your Superman suit for air. Oh, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I love you guys. And I love this Superman suit. After today, I don't want to wear this thing for a long time. I'm sick of wearing it, my friends. It's after a while, my arms like fall asleep because it like cuts off the circulation because my pecs are so huge. Just look at this. David Corn Sweat, step aside. I do love it though. It does make me feel like so powerful. Your plans won't work, Luthor. I will stop you. Oh, it's a great suit, but I'm done. I'm done wearing it, and it's not getting put back on till we get official Superman 2 news. Watch on Monday. Superman 2 confirmed. Honey, get my super suit. It's a good suit though. Brian Broadway on tour says, forgot to also ask, how would you like to see How would you like to see Lex Luthor in a sequel? Okay, I like this. Good, because we can get back to theorizing and stuff. All right, so the way I think they're gonna bring Lex Luthor back, so they're sending him to the prison in Creature Commandos. What was it called? Bolivia, Bolgard, whatever. The prison is where all metahumans go, or superpowered beings. I think what's going to end up happening is Lex is not going to serve very long in prison. He'll maybe be there for like a week, a month tops. And then they're going to realize that we can't waste that mind. Lex Luthor is still a genius, still has a lot. We can't just let that sit. And especially with the way the movie ended with Rick Flag and that other government official where he's like, well, I'm glad you're not fearing of the superhumans because they run the planet now. They run the world now. They're going to take a precaution now. And I think they're going to enlist Lex Luthor, who successfully created two metahumans, Ultraman and the Engineer, because Lex Luthor did create the Engineer, which also, that's another thing. Bella Reeve. Thank you. Bella Reeve, the name of the prison. The Engineer isn't even part of the Authority yet. So the Authority doesn't even exist. So I think that's what James Gunn was probably planning with the Authority, is that the Authority was going to be the government created team. And Lex Luthor would maybe help create them or be responsible for putting them together. I think that's what will happen, is that they'll end up enlisting Lex Luthor and being like, hey, we need some metahumans to keep the other metas in check because now they're doing their own thing, stopping wars, dealing with government issues that they shouldn't be. So Lex, give us more metahumans. I think that's what they'll do. Someone just said nitpick. How is that a nitpick? I'm theorizing, buddy. So yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think. Someone said, Avila Callis, my super chat got missed. No, it's not, buddy. It's right down here. I still have so many super chats to get to it. Your super chat didn't get missed, buddy. I'm just going down the line. So yeah, that's my theory, is Lex will end up being used by the government like Rick Flag or something like that to create probably the Authority or other team members or precautions to stop Superman, things like that, and he'll obviously use that to escape or better himself and things like that. I do wonder how they'll how they'll get Luthor to be on the side of the because I want them to do the President Luthor storyline. I just, like, with everything in our world, how do you not do the Lex Luthor president story? And although it's been proven that you can, have a bad person in office, this one is like he was shown to be a traitor. Everyone is seeming to be hating him. Even Maxwell Lord says that line of like, oh, at least the one thing conservatives and Democrats can agree on is Lex Luthor's annoying or a bad guy. So what will he do in the sequel or in the following movie to kind of gain the trust of at least half the US to be voted in? I wonder where that would go. But this storyline would be so cool because it creates such a conflict for Superman. He can no longer, just like in this movie, where Superman flew into Luthor Corp and just like threw his desk and was, where is the dog? Superman can't do that. I don't, if Lex Luthor kidnapped his mom, Pa Kent, Krypto again, Supergirl, did something awful, Superman just unfortunately can't do that. Unless he can prove that Luthor did it, then yeah. But him flying into the White House, destroying the roof, and all that's not going to look good. It's going to make Superman look awful to the people, and Lex is going to manipulate that. So a lot has changed. So I do hope we lead to the Luthor as president arc and how that could go down. All right. So remember when the market? Okay. Please wear a suit for every video. We talked about that. Forgot to ask. Oh yeah, did that. Okay. Michael Thompson says, when are you seeing Superman for a fourth time? When it comes on Steelbook or 4K at home. That's probably when I'll do it, buddy. Bottle Cap says, I love that they slimed Dollar General. Nickelodeon. Oh, I get what you're saying now. The Israel Prime Minister. Yeah, it seemed pretty obvious that that's what they were doing. But I've seen other people say, no, it's not. It's Ukraine and Russia, or it's this and that country, which then makes me go, I guess James Gunn is kind of off the hook then, because there are many countries that go to war with one another for different reasons. So you can just interpret it as any other country. But yeah, it was you're right. It was pretty obvious that it was that general. ODKG says 3C, look up Superman pal Jimmy Olsen. The TV show has so much potential in the. No, I've heard. Yeah, ever since we've heard that Jimmy Olsen might get his own TV show, people be bringing up the facts that way back in the day, in like the early comics, Jimmy Olsen had his own comic run and he got into all sorts of crazy adventures. Apparently, even Darkseid was introduced in a Jimmy Olsen comic. So that'd be hilarious if Darkseid is introduced in a Jimmy Olsen show. Please don't do that, Gunn. I know he would do it just for the laughs. Oh, but I could see so many people hating that. Daniela A says, imagine James Gunn makes the sequel and decides to hire Zack Snyder to direct alongside him. I would love to see the fan base reaction. I would not mind it because I think Zack Snyder, you know what? Like, I'll just say it. I kind of like Zack Snyder's directing, like visuals, a little bit more than James Gunn, although the visuals in this movie were really good. I mean, rewatching Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, Zack Snyder gets some great, beautiful visuals. But it's that writing sometimes. It's that story. It's that so much more that although I called this James Gunn's messiest script, I ain't got nothing on a Zack Snyder story, you know? So that would be the perfect answer to get a James Gunn written movie directed by Zack Snyder. Ooh, we cooking now, folks. We cooking now. I mean, we already got that with Dawn of the Dead, the remake, the reboot or remake they did. That's a James Gunn written movie directed by Zack Snyder. That's a great damn zombie movie. So yeah, we'll see. I doubt it'll happen. I wouldn't put it past him to hire him. If anything, I'd like to see Zack Snyder do like The Authority. I feel like that's up his wheelhouse. Those are darker and more, twisted heroes, and that's all what Zack is. He loves taking heroes and making them a little bit more darker, twisted, not as good. That's what The Authority's all about. Go wild there, buddy, because you can have your fun there. You just got Kate says, my mom's favorite scene is the best part, where Supergirl comes in. Yeah, I love that moment. I was like, why did you move the door? Where is my dog? And then Krypto just smashes her. I'm like, no. Evil Cleas says, yo, how many A's are in Superman? One? 1A! 1A! Say that again. Oh, you got me there. You got me there. King Daddy Goat says, how does Soups actually know that that's his dad, Zod? Ooh, see, people don't want the Kryptonians to be evil. People like, it's Zod. It's Zod. That ain't his dad, Jor-El. That's Zod. Hey, that'd be a crazy twist. I wouldn't put it past James Gunn. Mr. Oldesfool says, if parents were actually evil, I don't mind, but still think Lex paid off the analyst experts to say something to... See, that's what I mean. You can't trust the information since Lex Luthor was the one who put it out there. I needed a third-party, unbiased source to confirm it, like one of Superman's bots. I thought maybe Kara... When I was watching the movie, I thought Kara, his cousin, was going to come in at the end and tell him, that's not what your parents actually say. The actual translation is this, because I would think she speaks Kryptonian and whatnot. But no. Again, it's just a nitpick. It doesn't ruin the movie, but yeah, it's just like, I can't trust the information if it comes from Lex. Mario, do you think the Hammer of Baravia is a prototype to the Lex suit? It could be. I hope they maybe explain where that metal is from and why it like is so hard for Superman to like fight against. I always like I would think that like the Superman bots are made out of like Kryptonian metal, but the Engineer and Ultraman were able to defeat them very easily. So don't want to make the Lex suit out of Superman bots, but can you imagine that? That would be so wild and twisted if like Lex Luthor took all the Superman bots, Gary number 4, 22, all these bots that Superman considers family, and he just like ripped them apart and turned them into a suit, and like number 4 is on the chest, turns into an L. Yeah, dude, I'm never making movies. What was that? That was not a good... as I was saying it, I don't know if it was working for me. Kevin Feige would have kicked me out of the room after I said that. Out. Get out. I don't know. Someone did say cooking. Cooking. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Retro Lover 03 says, is Lex Luthor secretly gay for Superman? It can seem that way, but no, I don't think he is. It's just a matter of like, I hate how much the world loves you. I hate how much attention you get. I hate how much love, because that should be me. I am a genius. I create pocket dimensions. I can do so much, and no one respects or loves what I do, but you just show up and with the powers you were born with, you can do all this stuff. It's just an envy thing. It's an envy, you know. But I mean, if they kiss someday, I'd watch it. 1A, 1A, 1A. That's gonna be me as a fan watching. Whenever AI gets to the point that I can make my own movies fully at home, the 1A button is Luthor and Superman kissing. 1A, 1A. What? Mom, is Dad coming to dinner? No, no, sweetie. He's busy. Why does he spend all his time doing that? We don't know, honey. We lost him ever since AI. We lost him. 1A, 1A. I miss Dad, Mom. Me too, honey. Me too. So there you go. There's a day in the life of my future. Johnny Boyle SFX says, fun fact, the 3 sequences at the beginning after the words vanish is actually 3 seconds before Superman crashes. I counted. Whoa, dude, that's crazy. James Gunn really loves the number 3, so we better get 3 Superman movies, not 3 Superman team-up films or half sequels. No, I need 3, a Superman 1, a Superman 2, and a Superman 3. That's what I need. Mr. Oldest Fool says, Millie is great in the House of Dragon. Love the way she acted in Superman. So without what I hear about her story makes me excited because she pulls off anger grief. Yeah, it's gonna be great. I've never watched the Game of Thrones or those shows, so I can't speak too much on her ability. But just from the little I saw of her, very excited for her Supergirl. Let's see here. Kalor says, who would you want to be cast as DCU Batman? Again, my fan choice, Jake Gyllenhaal. I think Jake Gyllenhaal could pull off. He has such great range that he can do serious acting, and he can also pull off a campy, maybe slightly lighter Batman. Because I would want Batman to have kind of like that dry, dark, not dark humor, but he has like a dry, deadpan humor. That I wouldn't mind them kind of throwing out there. Chris is the real Mr. Handsome. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Oldest Fool says, Supergirl's costume is great and going to buy her Woman of Tomorrow story soon. Really excited for how different of a movie it's going to be. Oh, yeah, that comic was nothing like what I expected. It's pretty interesting. Like I said, it starts off a little odd. I was like, am I reading the right comic? But once you get into it and the story kicks off, it's very interesting and exciting. Mr. Oldest Fool says, Superman isn't near perfect. Main issue is the pacing, so then the moments can't fully hit, but damn, can't deny it's never boring. In my honest opinion, still love it, though. Yeah, you can't deny. James Gunn did not make a boring movie. Things are consistently moving. Things are happening. Action sequences, dynamic, fun characters, good moments. Yeah, you can't deny. It's not a boring movie. Revelation says, I hope they make Batman and Superman best friends. Honestly, me too. I don't want to skip past the part where they meet. I hope they haven't met yet, and that we will eventually see them meeting. But that's the kind of chummy relationship I would like. I would want the relationship to be similar to like Superman. It really likes Batman, and Batman doesn't hate Superman, but he doesn't like love him, and is like, it's kind of like the friend who doesn't let you hug him. He's like, oh, bro, get off me. What are you? But he's got you. He's always got your back. He's always there for you. I cannot wait for that dynamic. I hope they're best friends, and I'm gonna be yearning for those moments where Batman shows just the smidgen of him liking Superman, the smidgen of him wanting to protect him and be there for him. Those are the moments that I'm gonna be like, oh, like kind of like SpongeBob with Squidward and the Krabby Patty. Where, you like Krabby Patties, don't you, Squidward? You like Superman, don't you, Batman? You know, things like, I don't know. It'd be perfect. Deadpool and Wolverine, honestly perfect without Batman being that much of an asshole. Perfect analogy, Oscar, that you were saying. There's Deadpool and Wolverine, yes. Without Batman being so much of an a-hole. But yes, kind of that relationship. That would be perfect. Let's see here. What else we got? Bowden Scott says, I get why not Cavill, but I love him. Thoughts why? No, again, no hate to Cavill. And you'll hear it in my series review, like things I can appreciate and things I don't like about Cavill. But you're right, Henry Cavill would not have fit this role. He just doesn't have the energy this movie's trying to give off. Just like I don't think David Cornsweet was right for like Man of Steel. He wouldn't have been able to like do that because Henry Cavill was great for that version of the character. It's just your preferred taste, and it's kind of cool that we have different iterations. Just like I can enjoy, well, I'm not gonna say George Clooney, but I can enjoy Val Kilmer's Batman a lot. That doesn't, but he's wildly different than Pattinson's or Christian Bale's Batman, and so there's different things to appreciate about them. I wish I could enjoy Clooney's Batman. I'm not a big enjoyer of his though. Although I don't mind Batman and Robin. Mr. Oldest Fool says casting for this movie is goated. Clark, Lois, Kent's terrific. Guy, Jimmy are standouts. Hawkgirl was nice too. She needs more screen time. Dude, I love the moments where she's just screaming. Like, is that a thing they do? Is that a Hawkgirl? The whole movie she just can I say something? And I shouldn't say this because I bet you my fiance's watching right now because I see her moderating, and baby, I love you. When Isabella Basquet was screaming like a crazy person, hot. Oh, I liked it. I don't know. I liked it. I said what I said. I love you, honey. Sleeping on the couch tonight. All right, then. I don't know. But it was very funny moments. Someone said, hey, all right, the chat's agreeing. Facts, real. And someone said, nah. Some people were very annoyed with a Hawkgirl scream. I saw a ton of comments going, she's so annoying. I hate it every time she screeches, this and that. Oh, no, man. So I was like, oh, it's a bad like a kiss. Okay. If you have a cameo, I'd like a personal Hawkgirl scream. Y'all let me know if she has a cameo. I will pay $500 to get a 3C. Subscribe to 3C. All right, that's enough of that. Primal Plasma says, I just saw the movie. I really enjoyed it. Good. Down bad. Crazy work, bro. Stop the goon. Yeah. Your lady's not gonna like this. Oh, well, trust me, dude. Anytime a hot guy takes off his shirt in movies, my girl's the first to go, whoo, oh my. And I turn and go, what did you say? So she does the same thing to me. It's healthy. Global Globler. I can't wait till Pa Kent dies to a heart attack, and hopefully his relationship with Kara grows because of it, and more of a brother and sister. Yeah, I do wonder if they're leading us into that. I hope it doesn't happen off screen. I could so see James Gunn doing that, where like maybe the start of Superman 2 is the funeral of Pa Kent, because there is a lot to put on those shoulders of like actually seeing Pa Kent die, whether it's through a heart attack or some other horrific thing. I could see James Gunn just starting the movie with like the funeral of one of the Kents, and that being the basis of the movie is like Superman feeling lost and all that. But it would also make him grow closer to Kara because it's like the only family he does have that is blood related, and it'd be nice for him to repair that. Yeah. Hit the gym, Chris. Well, thank you, Nightwing 4621. 1A. But seeing Superman does make me want to hit the gym. Next movie, we need a shirtless David Cornsweat scene. They didn't give us that this movie. We need a shirtless David Cornsweat scene. I said it. The suit makes me so hyped for the Flash suit and Aquaman. Just all the different colors in the JLA. I've grown to love this suit. I have grown to really like it and embrace it. But I'm also going to say, I'm not going to be that mad when they change it. I'm not going to be that mad when they tweak it up, when they polish it and make it nicer. So I will say, I'm not sure how excited I am of the Flash and Aquaman suits, but if they are leaning more comic accurate, I will be excited for that. But if it's the same designer, less lines, less bulkiness, a little more slim, people are saying polish what? I honestly think like just less lines. Honestly, change the material. I would like almost like a more rubbery material, similar to like Henry Cavill's, that like hugs David Cornsweat's body and really emphasizes his manly self, but yeah, some people saying same, some people saying same. Yeah, less lines, just little, like even like this stuff is a little unnecessary, things like that. But just little things. That's why I said polish it. Like overall, the suit I think as a whole does work. Just some tweaks. The Prodrol developer says Soups versus the Elite, Amazo Doomsday Darkseid. I've seen a lot of people say the Elite could probably work because that could be like another type authority type figure, or the people who could be owned by like the government, and they're going to be like, these are the official superheroes. Listen to what they say, and if you don't, these guys are about to crush you. We got here. Jonathan Perkins says, "Do you think the monkeys will lead to Oh, dude, that would be crazy if the monkeys actually come back and do something. There is just a lot of like brain smart monkeys that are just itching to leave hate online. Maybe they just become reviewers on YouTube in the DCU, and it's like, welcome to the Monkey Channel. Super shit." But Gorilla Grodd adopting those monkeys and doing something with them, not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Oh, did Roger is back? We need Roger back. What? Sadly, again, hola amigo. ¿Te convertiste en Superman en la cama? Like Soldier Boy said, Superman now, I want me. Oh, I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am. Peyton Rurik says, I also want Brainiac to be the villain. Part of me wants him to be a Justice League villain. And I kind of want to be like Injustice, where Brainiac turns one part evil, another not evil. IDK, dumb wish. It's an idea. When I think about like a Justice League villain, I obviously go to Darkseid, but I don't think you go to Darkseid right away because that's what Zach was building up to, and you want us to build some space from that. You could do Mongol, right? I don't know if you do Doomsday. I think it's Legion of Doom. You almost make like another team build up of villains to go up against the villains. I know some people, Reverse Flash as a Justice League villain. I don't know. I am curious who that would be. Trigon. Okay, Trigon could be interesting. We'll see. We'll see. Black Lanterns. Oh, okay. I do wonder if James plans to introduce other colored lanterns, because there's a lot of cool lantern lore and all that. But Fum says Supergirl should have been moved to the end credit scene. I agree, but I guess it just would have been clunky because I don't want. While I do want Supergirl to be the end credit, the way the movie ends with him doing the punk rocker, yes I am, and the whole family video, it flowed nicely in there. So it would have been like maybe that happens first, and as Superman is done watching his family video, that's where the post-credit scene starts, and it's Supergirl coming in. But I think it's also a situation that James Gunn is aware, even if there's like 10% of people that don't stay for the credits, we would like to have all eyeballs we can aware that Supergirl is coming, pause, and that she's going to have a movie next year. And so James Gunn was like, I know I could put it in the credits and most people stay for the credits, but those 15-20% of people who don't, I need them to know Supergirl is having a movie soon. So, you know? Pattinson and Corn Sweat as World's Finest. I would eat it up. I honestly would be fine with it. I think it'd be really cool if they had Pattinson and Corn Sweat, but we'll see. We'll see what James Gunn's plans are. He's still being a little. Now that Superman is a success, oh, buddy, James Gunn is going to be a lot more confident in this universe and spill a lot more beans, because I think he was holding off on a ton of information. Because if this flopped, if this didn't do well, or people hated it and it was reviewed poorly, which it wasn't, a lot of people love it, both critically and audiences. Well, he wasn't going to start announcing other things and tell you about it, because now that's a terrible start to the DCU. Now we are finally going to be getting James Gunn being a little bit more revealing, telling a little bit more stuff, and I can't wait to hear what that'll be. Emperor Vigy says, side note, what plot do you hope DCU Batman adapts? I would love a Red Hood story. Because I'm still wondering what the main story of Batman Brave and the Bold is going to be. With Damian Wayne coming in, you know, his son, I think it's then important to address Batman's flaws as a father, as a parent. Because while Batman might be one of the best heroes out there, or just the one that gets the job done the most, at the end of the day, Damian, which I believe this is supposed to be Bruce Wayne. If it's Dick Grayson, y'all let me know. But the movie could revolve around how, although he's a great crime fighter, he's a terrible father. And so the Red Hood storyline would be an example of that. He failed as a father to Jason Todd. The consequences of that, and how Damian showing up could see that. He could see the son he did right with and the son he did wrong with. So the right one would be Dick as Nightwing. But even Nightwing has issues, because sometimes he like lets go of Batman and he becomes his own person, not out of a mutual respect, but just because I'm sick of Batman and what he does. I need to be my own hero. I can't just be living under his shadow. So that's what I kind of would like, maybe like a Red Hood story, being it very much based on Batman as a parent, and how he has the ability now to really be a better one with Damian in his life, fix that part of himself. I don't know. That's my idea. The suit is Dick's. Oh, okay, good to know. Because I know sometimes Damian partnered up with Dick Grayson when he was Batman. Like this, I know is supposed to be Dick Grayson as Batman. All right. Let's keep going on and see what we got going on. Let's see. Superman. He's not a man. He's an it. And I'm gonna touch it. Okay. I really thought Pa Kent was going to die. Oh no, I'm glad they didn't do that. That would have been another cherry and layer on top of me going, too much movie. Back it up. Back it up. They had a great scene with Pa Kent. I did not need to see him die because that would have just broke my heart. DJ Sheher says favorite Superman cartoon. I like the OG. Well I watched more Batman animated series, but the few episodes I did see of the Superman animated series I did like, but I always more preferred the Batman animated series. Verova 815 says Egyptian Goonerglyphics. Oh yes, our top linguistics have decoded. Egyptians did indeed goon. Mr. Terrific, can you confirm? I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific. Prime says, thank you for making these videos so much. We love you. I love talking to you guys. Y'all are a lot of fun. You're a lot of fun. KTLG says, do you think they introduced Darkseid like how they did Thanos, teasing him leading up to Avengers movie? Do you think he'll show up in future films? I think you do eventually want to lead to Darkseid, because Darkseid, I think, is both a Superman and a Justice League villain threat. It'd be great if James Gunn could eventually lead up to that somehow. I just don't know if that'll be the Justice League villain for the first film. I think it'll be some other stuff. Someone said 1G for the goon. 1G! 1G! DP69, me when the waitress asked me what steak sauce I want. A1! 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 Somewhere out there, Ultraman's punching a waitress. I just wanted steak sauce! 1A plus 1A plus 1A equals 3C. Coincidence? I think not. Crazy stuff. Colorel says, what was your reaction when Lex killed the food? Oh, dude, glad we're bringing up more stuff that we haven't talked about yet. So, yes, Lex Luthor, that was a crazy scene. It really shows you how much Lex Luthor is a crazy man. It caught me so off guard. I didn't even know if they would go that far with it in the scene. So Lex Luthor's trying to interrogate Superman, get more information out of him, figure out to where he's been raised, who he knows, weaknesses, details more about him. And in this interrogation, to get Superman to talk, he knows you can't really torture Superman because Superman will take all the pain in the world and will even die without revealing anything. But if it comes to somebody else, yeah, and it's a very conflicting scene because you can tell Superman wants to, but then that compromises Ma and Pa Kent. He does not want Ma and Pa Kent, and even the character in that scene, so heartbreaking with how much he loves Superman, where he's like, I have no family, Superman. I have nobody. You can just kill me. It's okay. I was like, dang, he a real one. He willing to die for a falafel and a Superman. Don't do it. It was so heartbreaking when that happened, and the pain in Superman's eyes, crying, and Metamorpho going, oh no, oh my god. Oh man, it was good, and I think so smart of James to do the Russian roulette thing where it happens on the second bullet, because yes, it could have been a suspenseful scene that he could have built up for, like, he could have milked that thing for like 6 bullet rounds because of the probability, but I think it not going Lex's way is a perfect metaphor for the movie, with no matter how smart Lex is and how much he knows, the probability of this bullet going off on the guy is 1 in 6 chance. His arrogance and his show off gets in the way of still leading to failure. Yes, there was a 1/6 chance and he thought that would last longer, but it ended up not happening because even he isn't willing to take the math and the science at face value, just like when the pocket dimension was opening, right? He's like, you think I don't know that about it rifting open and all his goons going, we got to close it, Lex, come on. At the end of the day, Lex's biggest kryptonite is his own ego. And so, yeah, it was cool. And Baby Joy was great, man. Baby Joy crying over there. Good stuff. Great scene. I loved it. Sergio Mendoza says, what do you think of the negative reviews of the movie? Honestly, and again, this is where it's like I want to be better. I would hope you guys are better about understanding other people's opinions. While I had my negative thoughts, I was getting a kick out of seeing so many reviews this weekend. I like when I was brushing my teeth, doing things around the house, cleaning, setting up for stuff. My favorite thing to do was search Superman review and just clicking on somebody's thoughts and hearing them. And like I said, I really like Dan Murrell's review, although like I still ended up loving the movie and he didn't like it all that much. Still respect so much about the things that didn't work for him because I can agree on a lot of those negatives. So it's nice to hear, and I do wonder what things James Gunn will take into account, what he will come to fix for the next couple movies, because I think every creator should take some of that criticism and not overcorrect or be like, oh, okay, I got to fix those problems, but like make them not as noticeable. So it's been nice to hearing it and love a lot of good stuff out there. And maybe some of you guys have been seeing negative reviews that you're like fine listening to. That's me. DP69 says Homelander v 2025 Ultraman. Who wins? I think Ultraman. Homelander is very tough, but Homelander just seems so tough because in the boys universe, every villain is such a scaled down version of our heroes. I feel like I don't know, Hawkgirl could probably take down everybody in the Homelander universe. So Ultraman wins that. Ultraman wins that. 90 Day Fiance 696969 says, "Can we get an I'm a goon man? Yes, I am. I'm a goon man. Yes, I." And it's all the footage of me gooning over these. I'm a goon man. Yes, I am. Robots, I think you misunderstood. I was trying to see where Lex Luthor's goons are, not footage of goons. All right. I'm getting canceled. My old ass fool says, since I've seen the movie so many times, I'm catching background details like Eve have a selfie with Handsome and Lex has Handsome framed on his desk. That is so funny. That is very odd. But yeah, like a lot of the stuff that was weird or out of context. Oh, and we never even talked about it. Something else like Superman with the laser vision. Superman 2025 eyes. He has the redness. Remember when we saw this trailer and we thought, oh, so Superman, when he gets so intense and does such an intense beam of lasers from his heat vision, his eyes start to get puffy and red. Interesting choice. I was fine with it and I thought it was cool, but it's like, I don't want that to happen every time Superman throws heat vision. You watch the movie and the context is different. Ultraman shot his laser vision into Superman's eyes. I was like, oh, snap. Okay, cool. It was good. Yeah, a lot of great stuff, though. I meant to say Makila Hoover's character earlier. Oh, let's see here. Makayla Hoover Superman. I think I know who you're talking about now, and I agree. This is one of the faults of the movie where really only Jimmy and Lois got to be characters in the Daily Planet that were fleshed out or had something to do. There was so much talk, and James Gunn, I wouldn't say was hyping up, but it seemed like, oh wow, he's getting Lombard, he's getting what's this actress's name? I'm trying to think of her name. Who's she playing? I forget. Cat Grant, all this stuff. And then you watch the movie and they don't do anything. They're just kind of there and they're almost just fill in the voids. And so yeah, I like, yeah, she was beautiful to look at. That's no one's doubting that, but she didn't really add much to the movie. She didn't even get to interact with Clark. Well, she did. She was like, "I like that article, Clark," and that's about it. So yeah, I would have liked if the Daily Planet cast maybe did get something more outside of Jimmy and Lois, because those are the supporting characters for Superman. You would want them to. And I even noticed my third time watching. Okay, so there's this guy Drew, has no speaking lines, doesn't say anything, really doesn't do much in the movie, yet he is one of the Daily Planet members that ends up in the ship, the T-Sphere, at the end of the movie in Mr. Terrific's ship. And it's like, why are you here? What are you at? Who is this guy? No offense to him. It's like, maybe he's somebody in the comics or something like that. But the only reason I'm like, you exist is so that Lombard doesn't have a seat. And then we get that joke of him putting a seatbelt on going, why don't I have a seat? So it's just like, yeah, it's like Jimmy and Lois, they did something, had interactions. I mean, Jimmy got his own scene in an alley where he's talking to Eve and trying to get information out of her. The rest of the cast just kind of not. And Lombard was funny, though. I don't know if you caught it, but when Metropolis is being destroyed and and he's talking to like his nanny, but it's a nanny for his cat. And he's like, "Yes, Perspicuity on the phone. She can't hear my voice." He was talking about his cat. I was like, yeah, they're funny characters. I just felt like they didn't get to do much, unfortunately. Oh, and so look, it looks like he is a character in the comics, but you wouldn't know that from the movie because the guy does nothing. I don't even think he says one line of dialogue. I don't know. So yeah. But yeah, that's just like one of the flaws. Nothing huge though. Nothing huge though. There was a lot of other things going on, but hey, these were the trio, and they at least had their moments, right? Hope to see an adaptation of Martian Manhunter soon. I think they are. I think they're heavily hinting at it. The scene where the Hammer of Baravia shoots his laser at a building, that is the headquarters of the Chacos, the things that Martian Manhunters eats. Martian Manhunter Choco. He likes these like Oreo cookies in the comics. He's like a big Oreo cookie eater. They're called Chacos though in the DCU. And yeah, in that scene where the Hammer of Baravia, this company, this brand right here, he's shooting at their headquarters and all that. So I feel like there's hints. And also, if you remember at the end of Blue Beetle, which is semi-canon, not really. We'll see what James Gunn ends up doing. At the end of Blue Beetle, there are Chacos on the computer, meaning Martian Manhunter was there trying to look for the original Blue Beetle that disappeared, and that was going to be part of the sequel. So yeah, Martian Manhunter's definitely coming. Fifi says, just saw Superman. He is indeed a punk rocker. Loved it way more than I thought I would. Excited for Supergirl and Brave and the Bold. And that's the greatness, that we can be excited for DC right now. Like, it's just been a long time since I felt that way. And I feel excitement for Supergirl, which I never thought I'd actually. I think I thought I was going to have to fake all the excitement for Supergirl, if I'm being honest. Whenever they announced it, I was like, oh, yay, Supergirl. But James Gunn, you did it. You did it. You sold me on it. You just Kate says, what do you think about Supergirl at the end of the movie? I think that was a good portrayal. It honestly makes sense with what I know of Supergirl, her being a drunk, and that's a coping mechanism. And so it makes me, and she's gonna be a fun character. Who's not gonna fund the drunk? Can you imagine having Superman's powers, but you're wanting to be drunk all the time? Like, there's just so much fun you can have with that. I think, and she's not hell bent on the rule that Superman is, where she doesn't kill. She doesn't have to kill her, all this stuff. Like, no, she's a flawed person, and that's what's going to make her interesting as a hero. You just got Kate says, what do you think about Supergirl at the... Oh, we just talked about that. Sunday Joe says, do you think Lex stays a major... Oh, yes. Lex is returning. And I think James Gunn has already said in interviews, Lex is an important part of the future of the DCU. So, yeah, he's going to be a problem for the Justice League eventually. Electro says, can this Superman be home? Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm telling y'all right now, I am such a defender of the way James Gunn handled this Superman, because this is how a comic book writer would handle Superman. Again, I'm going to talk about it more in my Superman review series when I get to Man of Steel and BVS. You'll see me talk about it. But there are people that don't make Superman movies, or Superman movies that come out boring because some writers don't know how to put Superman in a vulnerable position, or in a position that he has to overcome something, because we see him as this indestructible, perfect, superhero. And it's like James Gunn found a way. Like, that's how it works in the comics. When Engineer used her, the Engineer used her nanites. She used the nanites to cover Superman's eyeballs so he couldn't throw laser beams, stuffing his mouth and lungs so that they can implode him. And Superman has to outsmart that, other than just by punching and pure strength. That's super bad. I love that. And you can also tell, third time watching it, Superman can easily defeat the Engineer. Don't think the Engineer can beat Superman. That's her one move. That's her one trick to kill him. Just like one-on-one battle, Thanos and Ant-Man, Thanos is probably winning. But the minute Ant-Man gets in Thanos' butt and enlarges, Ant-Man could probably win, and that's his one move to make Thanos, to beat Thanos. That's the Engineer's one move to be able to beat Superman. If you watch that battle with Engineer and Superman, Superman isn't having trouble fighting her. He laser beams her. He's holding her down, saying, this isn't you. Come on, you can be better. Superman was having no struggle against her. But, and so with that, and how much they use the fact of Superman needing to recharge and the sun really being his strength, it's a good use of that power, because when Metamorpho creates that fake sun, it doesn't put Superman at 100%. Bro's probably like at 30, 40%. It's a fake sun, and with just a small supply, it wasn't enough for him to fly out of the proton field, to get out of the black hole, needing that help. I like moments like that. It's like Superman losing his webs. You know, it's like when Superman loses his web shooters or isn't able to use them anymore, it makes Spider-Man more creative, more agile, more having to think for himself on his feet. Same thing with Batman. What happens when Batman runs out of, batarangs or smoke bombs or things like that? He's still Batman at the end of the day, can find a way to get out. So I don't know. That's my thought. That's my thought. I said Superman loses his web shooters. Spider-Man loses his web shooters. I've been doing that a lot lately. It's been so annoying. I'm mixing up superheroes and whatnot. Brain is deteriorating, guys. I'm sorry. But yeah, I think Superman could easily beat Homelander. And this narrative that he's such a weak, no, they just actually wrote Superman the way a comic book writer would write Superman, putting him in actual vulnerable situations that don't require to kill him off just because you don't know what to do with him in the next movie. I said what I said. I said what I said. Isaac says, Superman works for me. As soon as I saw the dimensional imp scene, it made me realize exactly what kind of world DC heroes live in. People can look at it like a parallel to our world. Yeah, no, we have to think of it as a separate reality. And yeah, it makes sense. Like Lois is there and she's like, oh, you helping them with that squiggly thing? No? Okay. Let's talk about punk rock then. Oh, that's Fool says they're A-list, so it helps with viewings. With all the viewings caught around 25 details about to become a part of new rock stars. Enjoy the Canadian land. Oh yeah, I watched Superman in 0.25. Here's what I learned. Joker fan 45 says, if you pay attention to Ultraman's costume, you'll notice he does have purple on his costume in some spots. It's a nod to Bizarro. Possibly. You're probably right. Maybe it could be a nod to Bizarro. I did notice that in my 3D viewing. It was a lot more clear because I mentioned in the toys that we have here for Ultraman, he looks a lot more purple. Like the purple is a lot more defined, and in the movie you see a smidgen of that purple. My oldest fool says Eve bikini selfie while wearing hammer helmet. John 25 says, we saw how much a hater Lex was in this movie. Now imagine how Reverse Flash will be. It was me, Barry. It was me, Barry. If you know, you know. No, I know. And I would love that, dude. That's, I guess, one of the good things of them not doing Reverse Flash in the first movie. Although there's like, they do a version of Dark Flash or whatever you want to call it. Dude, when Reverse Flash comes in and he's all about just hating Barry Allen, it's going to be crazy. I cannot wait for that storyline. But they'll probably do Gorilla Grodd first, which I don't mind. Mr. Death says, I didn't like that people turned on Superman very quick. Barely anyone defended him. My account, Mr. Death 27, is still banned. Sending in super chat. I got banned for saying youngest one Squid Game. Sorry. I got to figure out how to ban that because I'll be honest, I don't even know. So once you get banned, it's almost permanent. But I'll look into it, buddy. It's probably my settings somehow. But with Superman, no, I mean that's the world, dude. If y'all found out a rumor that I'm like slashing puppies, all y'all turning on me. All y'all turning on me without the facts. That's the world we live in. There was a decent amount of people that didn't. There was the one construction guy who was like, this has to be BS. This is you gooning Superman. So there were some people that didn't want to believe it, and even the Justice Gang didn't believe it. The Guy Gardner goes, is Superman really here to conquer the Earth? Probably not. But do I want to step in and interfere with the government's plans? No. So even the Justice Gang didn't believe Superman was doing that, but it's politics sometimes, and people are only looking out for themselves, you know? King Koopa 867 says, hey, Super 3C, I wanted to ask, what do you think each member of the Fantastic Four music genre is? I personally think the Thing would be jazz. Oh, this is a Fantastic Four question, not a Superman question, but I'll do it real quick. Well, Johnny is hot, so he'd be spicy. What is a spicy? So what, like salsa? There we go. Johnny is salsa music. Reed is stretching a lot. What's a stretch? I think funky. I think play that funky music, white boy. That's Reed's right there. Invisible. I think Invisible. I think emo. So I think Supergirl is listening to a lot of where are you? I'm trying to do like some emo. And I'm so sorry. I cannot sleep. I cannot drink tonight. That's her. The Thing, obviously rock music. If you say anything other than rock music for The Thing, you're just wrong. And there you go. um, but yeah, that that's that. All right, let's see here. Elvidine Melik says, what if we see Snyder do Gunn's Batman movie?" Dude, James Gunn did say Batman is his favorite DC character. I don't think he'd do it, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. I don't know if I'd want a James Gunn Batman. I'd be down with him. He's gonna eventually touch Batman in Justice League. I guarantee you he's doing Batman, so he'll get to be able to do whatever he needs to with Batman in Justice League. But it'd be crazy. Will Snyder do Gunn's Batman movie? I just misread that entire line. Brain is fried, dude. Brain is fried today. But Snyder do Batman's movie? Well, if Gunn writes it, yeah, but I'm not in love with the way Snyder handles Batman. Great visuals, great action scene. Not in love with all that. Uncaged says, is Krypto neutered? I don't know. I wasn't looking for Krypto's weenie in there, but if he isn't, we may be having an issue. Another earthquake today. No one can quite figure out what happened. Krypto over there. Huh? I don't know what happened. Burning Bat 101 says, would like for Lex and Brainiac to merge together like in Justice League Unlimited for a sequel. I wouldn't mind that. Like Lex outsmarting Brainiac, this ultra super smart space alien, and doing something like that. I wouldn't mind that. Reggie, it's up to the VOD pre-order or Fandango at home. Oh, it is? Cool. I'm gonna pre-order it then. Thoughts on Cat Grant? Would you say inappropriate? No, I don't think she did anything inappropriate. I mean, she was just showing off her assets, which is fine. I don't think they just didn't do much with her as a character. She had like a couple talking scenes with Lois, but I don't know, she didn't add much to the movie. Brian Broadway on tour says, I would like Batman and Superman to have the Lego dynamic. Like in the Lego Batman movie? Or like in the video games? Because I'm not familiar with the video games. And MR says, do you think Lobo is the main villain of Supergirl? I don't think he's the main villain. I think he will be an obstacle. He will be the kaiju or the interdimensional imp for Supergirl, meaning he'll be the thing that's thrown at Supergirl for like one scene for a moment. They have their battle, they have their fun, then they end up going their separate ways. No, Supergirl's bad guy is, I forget the guy's name, like Carl? It's some weird name. But no, Lobo won't be. He'll just be like one of the henchmen or just one of the obstacles that Supergirl will have to overcome in the middle of her story. Stranger Z Danger says, you think James will get an unknown for Batman? It'd be honestly a smart idea, because no matter who you end up picking, if they're good and they're talented, once they become Batman, ultra famous. I mean, think of David Cornsweet. He didn't have many credits before. Yeah, he was in Twisters and Pearl, but he wasn't like a megastar. After this weekend, David Cornsweet's a megastar. So it's almost better to get an unknown because the character itself is already the celebrity. As long as they're a good actor. What is your kryptonite? Honestly, sometimes like grammar, reading. Yeah. Bro, Chris, can you go through a list of Superman plot leaks and see which ones were true and which ones were fake? It would be super funny. And that would take a while. There's so many super chats I want to get to, but I mean, like I said, most of those Superman plot leaks were so misconstrued and were only like so exaggerated to a point. It's like, see, like it's all right here. Here, look, I'll put it up here if you guys want to read it. Bumbus Chumbus. New Superman plot leaks. I don't know if these are the actual ones. As Krypto lies. Oh, these. I think this is fake because it says Krypto is dying, so that ain't true. Super animals and ideal society. Yeah, that's not a real thing. Oh, these is the real one. There we go. All the confirmed beats from the Superman plot leaks. Yeah. So these are the real ones. Superman is taken to Fortress Solitude to be healed by robots. That happens. They hate Superman, devise a plan to eliminate him, involving partnership with the government and foreign nations. It says Luthor equals Elon Musk. See, like, people add in all these other tidbits to make it sound terrible, but in the movie, it actually works. Let's see here. Lois goes in living room. Like, where's the? I want to read like the Jimmy Olsen part that I always thought sounded so stupid. Learns the best actions is good. So yeah, like that's the kind of stuff. Superman sits back, asks to see his family, but instead of Jor-El, it's his human family. Yeah, so these most of the plot leaks were real. They just worded them in a way that could construe it and make it not sound as good, but it's out there if you want it. The Gunn archive, which, man, Gunn, you got to make sure this stuff stays on lockdown, buddy. Too many people saw this way before it came out. All right, see here. More super chats. Yeah, exactly. Retro Lover says DCU Superman MCU Spider-Man crossover movie. No, you know what I have been seeing that I'm not even gonna lie. It's very true. I've been seeing a lot of people call Superman, James Gunn Superman, the homecoming of the DCU, and I know some of y'all gonna think that's a compliment. I know some of y'all gonna think that's like an okay thing to say. I think it could be taken either way, and I don't disagree with them saying that this movie is essentially Spider-Man Homecoming, but for Superman fans. And the context, I think, behind that is it did bring back Superman to the general audiences in a very favorable way, the same way Spider-Man Homecoming did. So look at Spider-Man Homecoming. If we look at Spider-Man Homecoming's Rotten Tomatoes score, super well loved, super well received, 92/87. Just the public loved it. This is a definitive Spider-Man. And then if you go to like James Gunn's Superman movie that just came out, well, same situation. Very well liked, high Rotten Tomato score, high audience score. But if you ask the diehard fans, the diehard Spider-Man, the diehard Superman fans, they are pissed. They will say things like Spider-Man, Iron Boy Jr. Where's Uncle Ben? They got the origin all wrong. Superman fans, the diehard ones, what are they saying? They got the origin wrong. It doesn't exactly match the character. Is that all that? I was like, dang it, I guess y'all right. But this is also like, I can, because y'all know, sometimes I'm a hater with Tom Holland's Homecoming and some of his movies. I've been honest about that because I just love Spider-Man so much, and I have such a specific idea of how Spider-Man should be that sometimes the way those movies portray him, I don't love, but I still like Tom Holland, and I'm excited for Spider-Man 4. Superman, I've admitted, I didn't grow up as a Superman-obsessed fan. I just like the basic idea of the character, so James Gunn Superman worked for me. I think if I was an obsessed, diehard fan, I'd be like what Angry Joe is, where he gave the movie a 6 out of 10 because so much of it is holding him back. It's an interesting parallel to see. So calling James Gunn's Superman movie the Spider-Man Homecoming of the DCU, I think is almost a little fitting. I do see that there. I don't know. Anybody else? Anybody else? Oh. All right. Omar Gonzalez sends in $1.99. Thank you so much, Omar. Let's move on here. Jonathan Foyk. Who's whining in a hater off? Lex Luthor or Topher Grace's Eddie Brock? That is a good question. That is they're haters. Don't forget, freaking Lex Luthor. Well, not Lex Luthor. Topher Grace went to a church and asked God himself, I want you to kill Peter Parker. I want you to kill Spider-Man. Oh, dude. You know how much of a hater you gotta be to ask God to do something evil and have the balls that he might do it? That's some hater right there. Lex, I don't think Lex believes in a God. He does think of himself as God, and he's like, I will do it myself. So in that way, I'm gonna say Lex. I'm gonna say Lex Luthor. Peak scene, though. I hope maybe we get that in prison. DC Jesus, I want you to kill Superman. Oh, dude, can I also say Lex Luthor's theme in the movie? Oh, I'm a big fan of the theme Jesse Eisenberg has in Batman vs. Superman. I do like the theme that they give Jesse Eisenberg in that movie. But the score and theme for Lex Luthor, oh, dude, it is so awesome. Just a dun, dun. Like whenever he shows up, coming out of his ship, great score. I hope they keep that for all the movies every time Lex Luthor shows up. Really great Lex Luthor score. Nexus Fuel says, already imagining a scene where Guy Gardner and Booster Gold have a back and forth. It's going to be so good. Nathan Fillion, the GOAT. Yeah, that's going to be really good. And also, remember, in the Blue Beetle lore, for some reason, Blue Beetles hate Green Lanterns. It's like built into their system. So like whenever they see a Green Lantern, they automatically want to fight them. and finish them. Also, I hope we get kind of those scenes with Jaime and Guy, because that'd be a fun fight scene to watch. Omar Gonzalez says, "Hi Chris, big fan. You buying a Hot Toys? Already pre-ordered it, buddy, and it's gonna go right next to my Batman figure with the bat with the bat symbol. Here I have the bat light from the Hot Toys, the Batman thing. I tried making it part of the set, but after like 2 days of leaving the light on, it fried. It fried. Thank you, Hot Toys. So, and it's so funny because the popcorn bucket, which I did have to finesse. The popcorn bucket, hey, that's going strong. The Superman popcorn bucket from AMC. But I did have to buy like a separate light, drill a hole in the back, and put it in there. So that's fine. Doom Ask Dust says Lex will steal 40 cakes in the next movie. Okay. Botman says, just realized Superman and Supergirl have the same style suit, so is Kryptonian wardrobe inspired instead of Ma Kent made, as of some people thought? I think so. It's most likely the case. I know some people always like the idea of Ma Kent making the suit, but I think the suit always has to be made of Kryptonian material that also gets enhanced by the sun, so it can take a lot of damage from whatever Superman is fighting. So yeah, I guess so. Unless Ma Kent also made that for Kara. T Iron says, first, I love your videos. You're the only movie reviewer I love. I don't know if this is a hot take, but this is already my favorite version of Soups. Oh, I don't blame you. It's going to be a lot of people's favorite version. And it's just nice to know that there are kids today growing up now with this being their Superman. And so you're building a lot of fans. Just like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man built me as a Spider-Man fan when I saw that Spider-Man movie for the first time. We are creating little Superman fans that are about to love and cherish this character for years to come. And that's why it's important to reboot these characters properly every like 10 years or something. Matinzo says the Peacemaker cameo caught me so off guard. I knew it was gonna happen somewhere in the movie, but yeah, when it finally happened, I was like, there he is. There he is. Let's see here. DP69 cast Darkseid and Joker for DCU. Oh, I'm sure James Gunn probably wants to. DJ Sheher says, I liked how it featured social media, but it didn't give it a name. Yes. See, it's stuff like that. That's why the social media part didn't bother me. Like, we saw more social media stuff in the Batman. Matt Reeves is the Batman. Don't forget, there is literally a scene where the Riddler turns on his live stream and goes, hey, guys. Batman is peak. That movie is awesome, but that's still such a crazy scene. Hey guys, so today we're gonna be flooding Gotham. Here's a step-by-step. Don't forget to like and subscribe. At least they did, and they even had the chat going crazy with people hearting. They didn't do that in here. They just said on social media, people are hashtagging this, done. They didn't say Twitter. They didn't say some made-up name. They could have said Birdie. People are birding it on Birdie or something, or on Face Novel or something like that. On Clock instead of TikTok, on Clock, they're making fun of you. They did it the right way. The Riddler's an influencer. He sure is. Dante Carpenter sends in some love. Thank you so much. DP69 says, I can show you how to unban. I'll message you on IG later. Okay, thank you for that, DP69. Sunday Joe says, do you find any cuts or scene transitions sloppy? No, you can definitely tell where James Gunn was going to add in those title cards. And I kind of hope for like the home release, he like puts them back in there. I wouldn't mind that just to see what they would have looked like. But no, the transitions weren't sloppy. I like the cut to the next day. Like even when he goes from Hammer Baravia to him as Clark Kent, the score is nice. You see the Daily Planet Globe and Clark just trying to get to work. I think it's fine. Gabriel Platt says, do you think being to be Batman Brave and the Bold will have any change like Legacy? Yeah, I think we can expect some of that, especially when it comes to the Bat family. I think major changes are probably coming with like Dick Grayson's origin, maybe Damian's origin. I think we should probably expect some things to be changing. I'm open to it. Dude, this is going to be what, the 10th Batman iteration? It's fine if we get a little bit of difference. Maybe Martha Kent, instead of a pearl necklace, had a puka necklace. And that's what the mugger ripped off. Give me those pukas. These are real nice. Goddamn. People going to be mad Martha Kent has a puka necklace instead of a pearl necklace? We'll find out. Let's see here. Beef Boss says, I honestly think Legion of Doom should be what Justice League fights off against the. Honestly, I agree. I think that would be the best thing. Legion of Doom, led by Lex Luthor. Mm-hmm. The OK Squid says, see Maria Gravia's comments on Lex and the Engineer. Oh, well, who's that? Let's see. Is that the girl who plays Engineer? Maria? Gabriela? As Lex Engineer. What does she say? You're gonna have to tell me, man. I don't know if I'm gonna find it. Let's see here. Superman Engineer secret relationship with Lex Luthor revealed by the actress. Okay, so she says, I also kept telling James that I feel like the Engineer and Lex have a secret relationship. I feel like Lex is so serious and he has this gorgeous girlfriend that he treats terribly. So what if after hours the Engineer gets really mean with Lex and he loves it? She explains. Sadly, it doesn't sound like Gunn incorporated that pitch. I mean, that's just the actor's headcanon. Yeah, I don't know. Seeing the way the Engineer works, I don't know if I want to stick my willy in all them nanites. I feel like I'd catch a nanite ST or something crazy. A lot of scraping. That'd be like sticking it into a garbage disposal. All right, here it goes. um, that's just I guess the actress's interpretation of it. That's a common thing actors do, is they fill in their own story threads and heads to get in character and create their own ideas. But I don't think that ended up happening in the movie. I am curious more about the Engineer though, because in the movie she says she also believes Superman is a threat, that he isn't someone to be trusted, and that she believes it so much that she gave up her own humanity, meaning like she let Lex Luthor experiment on her and create this thing that she is. I understand why Lex doesn't like Supes. I wonder why the Engineer also feels that way, you know? My man called Invisible Woman Supergirl and James Gunn Zack Snyder game, man. I'm sorry. So many heroes, so many things going on. My ADHD brain can't handle it. Y'all know what I mean, though. Y'all know what I mean. Jeremy Ramey says, who's a new villain you want to see in Super Sweat? David's new version of the Battinson name, who's used in the sequel. Super Sweat. Oh. Who's a new villain you want to see in Super Sweat? David's new version of Battinson's name. Oh, used in the sequel. Okay, I was like confused on what you meant. Super Sweat and Battinson. Super Sweat, not bad. I like Super Corn. Super Corn could work. But for villain, it's still Brainiac, buddy. It's still Brainiac. You should play the Flash in DCU. I'd be a great Flash. I got that running down. I can't wait to see how the next Flash runs. Maybe he's gonna run like this. I hope so. That'd be crazy. Recent as a pet says, when is Superman part movies review coming out? So Reed has them. He's currently editing them, putting them together. I'm thinking Monday, thinking tomorrow. But just to give him a little bit of time and not to rush him, possibly Tuesday. But they're for sure. They're not gonna end up like the Wolverine video, because I already finished recording them and sent them. Wolverine videos will be sometime between now and the year 2040. That's my promise with that. Tiny Gliss says, why do you think who do you think will be in the Justice Gang? Okay, so right now the Justice Gang is Hawkgirl, Green Lantern. I'm thinking Mr. Terrific stays. So Mr. Terrific did not see differently with them and still stayed with them. Metamorpho is now added on. I wonder if that'll be it or what will happen. I don't know who else. They're obviously interviewing people in Peacemaker, so they're probably gonna add one or two more characters. It looks like they're trying to make their own like corporate Justice League, so we'll see how that goes. Cursed Milk says, do you think Gunn was inspired by Invincible and The Boys and how vulnerable this Supes is? Krypton's intent and how it focuses on different heroes. I don't know if he was, because even Invincible, the whole writing, don't forget, Invincible is a response to DCU and Marvel. That's all Invincible is taking characters that are commonly known, popular stories, and turning on them. So if they're taking from Invincible and Invincible took from Superman, which that's what the Viltrumites are, Kryptonians, a version of them, it's just like Superman taking from Superman then. Retro Lover 03 says Jack Black as Guy Gardner, alien partner. Oh, Jack Black somewhere in there would be fun. Whatcha? I am a Green Lantern. Coming in hot. Adventures with Parker and Dad. Lex Luthor needs a car to fight Krypto. A cat to. Ooh, that would be wild if he. And Lex Luthor is that type. He knows now, like, okay, I had Superman as a threat. My plans got foiled because of Krypto. Next time Lex fights, he's gonna have an answer to Krypto, and I don't know if it's gonna be pretty for Krypto. I don't know if he's gonna die or what's gonna happen. But I think Lex, next time he fights Superman and Krypto's there, Lex is gonna have a Krypto initiative or some sort of plan to take him down. Let's see here. I know Superman, but did you see Doomsday leak today? Another one? No, I haven't seen that, buddy. Sorry. Retro Lover says, remember 2022 was the year of Black Adam. Yeah, long time ago, man. Black Adam used to rule, and now he's gone. He's dead. Michael Tomsek says, Chris, you and Martha Kent instead of Martha Wayne. Oh, you said Martha Kent instead of Martha Wayne? Got my Marthas mixed up, buddy. Getting a lot mixed up today. I'm running on fumes. It's been a busy, crazy week. Went to LA, did a premiere, several videos, hours of Fortnite gameplay. I haven't slept in days. The Superman review videos. I said Kurt Russell instead of Russell Crowe. I'm not lying. I'm on a burnout right now. I'm burning out, but I'm pushing through. DP69 says done. Janelle Docs X says, how do you think Peacemaker ties in despite the Jor-El and Peacemaker season 1? I do think Peacemaker is, I think they're going to redeem him enough to where he could even possibly join the Justice Gang. I think like that could actually happen. Maybe the Justice Gang rejects him in the DCEU, but the Justice Gang in the DCU take him in. And he'll be a member of that, and he'll be more of a good guy. I think it'll just be more of an explanation of how multiverses work, more pocket dimension talk, things like that. Stuff like that. Jonathan Fuck says, whatever happened to the engineer girl? Girl just fought Superman for a bit on the field, just to later go unconscious and never showed up again. Well, Lex is going to jail. I don't think she'll go to, well, maybe she will because she's an accomplice with Lex Luthor, but you could argue she was just being command. I think she's going to be put to use. I don't know if she'll get put in jail. I think she'll end up working for the government, and it's either go to jail or answer to the government and help us make sure these metahumans don't do whatever they want. I think that's what's going to happen, and that'll probably lead to her starting the Authority or being a member of the Authority. That's my headcanon thought. MF Fantastic says, not Superman related. Do you think the planned Swamp Thing movie should lean towards horror action to be more philosophical, like Alan Moore? Oh yeah, and James Gunn has talked about that. He wants every project to feel unique in its own, and Clayface is going to lean into the horror and the rated R-ness, so Swamp Thing should too. Gabriel Platt says, Batman Brave and the Bold name. Batman Brave and the Bold name change. I thought you meant like origin changes, idea changes. Yeah, I think Batman Brave and the Bold might not have its title change. We went from Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow to now just Supergirl. We went from Superman Legacy to now just Superman. This one could just end up being called Batman. But I feel maybe Batman Brave and the Bold will stick because we already have a Batman movie with just Tim Burton's. We have the Batman. We've gotten the Dark Knight. Batman Begins. I think you do need Batman something. So Batman the Brave and Bold might stick. Depressor says, what do you want to see from the HBO Lantern show? I just want to see the Lanterns use their abilities. I know it's supposed to be more of a grounded show, and it's kind of Hal Jordan showing the ropes to Jon Stewart. I would like just a lot of Green Lantern power usage. I know we saw how Guy Gardner uses it. I want to see it slightly different through John or Hal. Also, a good origin and setup for the Green Lantern Corps. That way you could really let audiences know what you need to know about them. That way you could just jump right into the action whenever he shows up in Justice League. Just at the end of the day, I just want the Green Lanterns to be loved by audiences. I would love the Green Lantern show to be like the Breaking Bad, the Sopranos, or whatever of superhero shows where everyone talks about it, everyone loves it, and it's so good it only boosts up the Green Lantern name, you know? That's my thought. Cape Crusader would be a great name for the Batman movie. I agree with that, guys. Gabriel Platt says, love your channel. By the way, been watching since it too. Ooh, that's been a while. It's been a while. Seek says, and thank you though. Take off the shirt, Tubbs. I ain't taking this off, buddy. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah. I'm a punk rocker. Yes, oh, dude, I look so good in this. I know you jellies. Look at this. Seek is my Lex Luthor. He's staring at me going, I would look better in that suit. DP69 says 3C. Will there be an animated series for this? For Superman? I don't think so. I think the only animated series that we have is like the Wonder Man, the Blue Beetle thing, and some other things that have been in the works. I think Starfire was one of them. I don't think there'll be an animated series for Superman unless it's the Jimmy Olsen show. Cause I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am. DJ Sheher says 1A, 1A, 1A. Let's see here. Stick Cannon says, hello there. I was a Baravian soldier in the climactic act. Brought my keepsake from set to theaters. Oh, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, cool, man. I wish I could figure you out. Were you the little kid saying, Superman, Superman? I'm just going to pretend you were. Snow L. Jackson says, Timothy Chalamet as Barry Allen. Timothy has no interest in being superhero roles. He's already mentioned he's been given advice by other high-profile actors that it's like, don't do superhero movies. Just don't. And it's worked out for him. He's done a lot of great stuff. He's Willy freaking Wonka. That's a superhero in himself, but I wouldn't mind him as Barry Allen if he decides to do one. You're awesome. Well, thank you, DP69. Thank you. Retro Lover 03 says, did Goku and Superman get their origins switched? It seems like it, right? And again, Goku's origin is based off Superman. So if Superman is borrowing from Goku, well, Goku borrowed from Superman, so Superman is just borrowing from Superman. But yeah, that is Goku's origin in Dragon Ball, is that he was sent to Earth to conquer it and prepare it for the Saiyans, but Goku hit his head as a child and forgot that mission, and he's the good boy we know today. But yeah, it looks they did some of that Goku stuff in there. My old ass fool says, made my little brother a D1 gun glazer officially. He a gun oiler now. That's cool. D1 gun glazer. We're gun glazers over here. We sure are. The Super Sandro says, I'm going to 1A you if you stutter again. Leave me. I stutter so much, buddy. I can't. And well, we have reached the final super chat that lets us say 1A, 1A, 1A. I want to thank you guys so much for being here for the spoiler discussion of Superman. I had a great time talking about this movie. It was so much fun. I'm sure we're still going to talk about it some more, theorizing, and James Gunn's probably going to drop some more details in the coming days or weeks, but I love your guys' faces. Y'all have been amazing. This was a fun time. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe Fantastic Four. We'll do another spoiler talk. I think it will warrant it. We have one more. It says, round 7, 30 minutes, road to $1 billion in my dreams. Oh, yeah. DP69 sends in some love. We have Static said, one more, by the way. This is my favorite ever super chat. Oh, thank you. Thank you, my friend. But all right, guys. Don't forget, being kind and sweet, that's the real punk rock. I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am.